Hello, everyone. We'll be starting the event in few minutes now. I request everyone to proceed the hall.
Namaste, everyone. Good evening and welcome. Tonight, something changes in Nepal, and everyone in this room gets to say, I was there when it started. I'm Gauri. I'll keep my own intro short. The honest version is, I speak to people about GPUs every single day. That's my job. Some people talk about the weather. I talk about GPUs. Let me start with a small story, because it's really the reason that I'm here standing tonight. Around January this year, I met Mr. Deepak in Bangalore, of all places. It was supposed to be a quick coffee. It wasn't, because the idea on the table was too good to rush. And what stayed with me was the clarity that he brought to the discussion. He didn't say we are thinking about GPUs. He said, in effect, Nepal will have its own AI infrastructure, sovereign, on our soil, on our terms. The clarity was striking. I've sat through a lot of cloud conversations. I can tell you that kind of clarity over one cup of coffee is really rare. And here we are, barely 6 months later, and that coffee conversation has a name, a logo, and a launch event. Congratulations, team. You said you will do it, and you did it. And great applause to that. Now, can we take a second to appreciate what we are launching? Sorry. Something called YetiCloud.AI at the foot of the Himalayas. I'm told that Yeti is famously hard to find. You hear stories, people claim sightings, but nobody ever actually gets their hand on one, which if you've tried to get hold of a GPU in the last 2 years, you will definitely relate to it. Well, tonight we fix that. The Yeti is real, it lives in Nepal, and it comes with GPUs. The theme on that banner says it all. Nepal ko apna, AI infrastructure, Nepal's own. And underneath, Jahan Pani, Jahile Pani, Jati Pani, anywhere, anytime, at any scale. I want to say something as a neighbor here. I'm from India and back home. We've been having this exact conversation. Our data, our language models, our compute, and in our own soil. Every nation is realizing the same thing at the same time. AI is too important to be something you only rent from far away. And what I find genuinely moving about tonight is that Nepal is not waiting for anyone and isn't following anyone. This region, Nepal, India, and all of South Asia, we are climbing the same mountain, each on our own route. And tonight, Nepal sets up its own base camp. Because sovereign AI, stripped of the buzzwords, means something simple, right? A startup in Kathmandu, a university in Pokhara, a bank, a hospital, a government office, building AI here on infrastructure that is physically in Nepal, governed in Nepal, priced for Nepal. And this launch is a true partnership. Data Hub brings what nobody can import: decades of trust, connectivity, and data center expertise built right here. And we at Hosted.ai bring the software layer that turns powerful hardware into something anyone in this room can simply log into and use. Local infrastructure plus the right orchestration, that's when sovereign AI stops being an idea and becomes a reality. So what's ahead this evening? And it's a genuinely great lineup. In a few minutes, Mr. Deepak Shrestha, MD of Data Hub, will take you on the journey from data centers to cloud to GPU as a service. Now, you heard my version of the coffee story. You should hear his. Then our CEO, Mr. Ditlev, delivers the keynote. I work with Ditlev, and I can promise you 2 things. You will learn a lot, and you won't be bored. And after that, our panel is moderated by Mr. Anandaraj Kannal, founder of Nepal Digital Leads, a man who has spent 2 decades making sure digital Nepal means substance, not slogans. So if sovereign AI survives this panel, you'll know it's real. And I think Mr. Ratna Hakudwal will close us out, and then we'll all move to connect, network, and raise a glass over dinner. To our friends at Data Hub, congratulations. To everyone who will build on YetiCloud, we can't wait to see what you create. And to Nepal, thank you for the warmest of welcomes. The Yeti has been found. Let's put it to work. Dhanyavad.
Hello? Yeah. Thank you. My God, a lot of people, a bit nervous. Okay, yeah, thank you, सबैजनालाई धन्यवाद. यति छोटो नोटिसमा आइदिनु भएको छ. I think we started this about 10 days ago, and then, yeah, we're finally here. The team has done a good work on invitations and, getting things arranged, etc. But I will not take much of your time and start my presentation. Okay, yeah. Well, I start with data centers. We are a data center company. I'm a Data Hub data center company. We just do data center. We used to do only data center. Then we moved to cloud, and now we are getting into GPU as a service. Right? It's got journey. I'll speak a bit about it, and what have we done with GPUs, and how are we going to actually make this beneficial for all Nepalese, including myself, and all the Nepalese companies, startups. Could be enterprise, could be anybody. So we own and operate data centers. We have 2 data centers, Kathmandu and Butwalma. These are data centers. They're not very big, actually. When we started with about, I think it was 27 racks to 30 racks, and it took us about, I think, about 8 years to fill it up. Right? It was back in 2012. Nepal IT requirements. It was very, very difficult to actually get customers to use data centers. Data center was very, very new back then. Oily, if you look at it, it has boomed. There are stories, or there you hear it. People are building hundreds of racks for data centers, and they're all going to be consumed. Why? When the digital economy is growing in Nepal. It's growing at a pace that we do not know how big it's going to go, but it is definitely going to grow. Growth is strong. That we sell racks. We used to sell maybe 10 racks in maybe a year. These days, probably we sell it in 2 to 3 months. Because of the growth of the digital economy, the growth of digital population, I think everybody just uses mobile phones, they use applications, yet applications are also in Nepal. We just don't see applications. Like neighbor in India, there could be, I don't know, tens of even hundreds of apps, regional apps, etc. Nepal apps are we see very, very few apps, but they are yet to come. So these will all consume data centers. They will all have to come to data centers. They will all have to use a cloud. And maybe a subset of it will definitely use GPUs. Obviously, subset is going to grow because I believe everybody would, in one way or the other, get associated with AI. I'm pretty sure. When we started talking about GPUs probably 2 years ago with Ditlev, I thought this is going to take about maybe 3 to 4 years, and we're just going to do a POC. We'll see how it goes. But then we see genuine requirements now coming out from customers. We already have few POCs going on with customers. We're very happy with how things are progressing. The AI cloud that we call is definitely here now. So our infrastructure blocks, we have data centers, data center Gamathi, we have cloud operating system, we use Cloud Stack and OpenStack. We also have another virtual private cloud on an operating system called Verge OS from a company called Verge.io. We also do YetiCloud platform as a service. On top of that, now we've got GPU as a service, which is going to interface or give out AI as a service to customers. Right? And on top of that, we're going to do Token Factory. We're going to launch Token Factory, which I believe is the next big thing that is going to happen. And maybe Ditlev is going to talk a bit about Token Factory and how it's going to influence how you consume GPUs, how you're going to get interactive with AI. Okay, now we have already actually launched GPU plus AI Cloud. We call it YetiCloud.AI. Our product here, YetiCloud bhane. They product line we give it a continuity, and then we call it YetiCloud.AI. So your website ma goera hazurle aile ta sign up mathai cha. You can actually just contact us. We're going to have a sign up. When you come sign up to the service, you pay for it, you probably keep your wallet, you pay for this, consume the GPU, and then you can exit. We will charge you per hour or per month. It would depend on what you take. It would be a dedicated GPU or a shared GPU. It would be in your wish. From the panel itself. The panel will allow you to monitor, consume GPU, you observe, manage, operate, you do everything right there. You probably will not even need us. So that is what we're going to provide with the self-service orchestration that we're providing. And this layer has been provided by our partners, Hosted.ai, where Detlef is going to speak a bit about it. So this is eventually giving you GPU as a service. This is going to be an AI infrastructure for companies to actually consume GPUs, right? And definitely later we're going to be doing Token Factory in a couple of weeks. And this is going to be a game changer wherein you probably will just you'll just actually consume GPUs using APIs and install your models there and then consume GPUs. It's going to be very, very simple. Okay, the advantage that this is going to bring to Nepal. First of all, you don't have to rely on foreign cloud GPUs. You don't have to. Nepal mein se ho. It is in Nepal. So there's no foreign AI APIs. It will be in Nepal. You'll consume all the GPUs here in Nepal. Data is not going to leave Nepal. It's going to be right here. The latency is going to be really, really good. The performance will be much better. On your Arco say, you don't have to pay in USDs. It's going to be in Nepalese rupees. So this is going to be a big advantage because of the dollar fluctuation that is happening, which actually makes it very expensive. Claudia use it's very expensive. I was just talking to Detlef and he's telling that there are a lot of open source models that can be used on our GPUs that could be close to Claudia. And then that can be done at a fraction of a cost. So these are the benefits that we probably will bring to the market here. And definitely, cloud or GPU support can be a challenge because you don't know who you're talking to. Here you would see Nepalis here speaking to you on the phone. If there is a problem, we will come and support you. We will come and help you resolve the problem. And we're not very experienced with GPUs, right? We're just starting. But then there has to be a start. But then we have people who are going to help us actually build this to another level. Okay, I would also talk about some stuff with GPUs. Wherein hydropower is used, we use hydropower and then we sell electricity and it has limited value as we say. But then I think this is one way of consuming electricity. Nepal hydropower probably to use to power up GPU data centers, multiple data centers, right? And have AI compute on that. This is going to you're going to have a lot of software companies using those GPUs to actually support or build products, AI-ready products or AI products that we can export out. That is going to add a lot of big value. As I think we're probably selling peanuts. We're saying very, very cheap. But then once this goes up, the value actually moves up. So this probably could be a game changer for Nepal because of surplus electricity, at least during wet season. Okay, the AI era, what we do with the GPUs that we have, we will sell you per hours. The GPUs will be consumed by you per hour. You can just use it per hour and just leave it. And it would depend on how you want to use it. You have applications that would do it, or you consume it over APIs. It is up to you how you do it. Right? Then we also sell you AI inference. We'll give you AI APIs. We'll be also holding models. Models that will be hosted by us, wherein you can pull in from. We'll have a marketplace of models, or you could also pull it from Hugging Face. Hugging Face, but directly model pull in gara. You can put it in our cloud, in your GPU cloud, and then start operating it. And then definitely this is a platform for AI professionals, people who are going to use AI, consume GPUs for AI. Sorry. Okay, the other thing that I would like to talk about is, this would actually help build jobs. A GPU era, AI era, I think we will have to move up the value chain. We've got a lot of good software developers, but we need a good amount of GPU engineers. We need AI production engineers. We need DevOps, machine learning ops. You need AI researchers. You need data scientists. So these will all come in. The infrastructure actually will help build, because infrastructure you have software companies who can consume small bits of GPUs. Maybe 100 rupees per hour or maybe 150 rupees per hour consume, they can build applications. So this, you'll have people who will be interested in jobs, or higher value jobs, which are actually much high, paid than maybe a normal software developer. So these are some value that we can actually bring to the nation. Not us alone. They could be, this has to be the entire ecosystem working together to build this. Okay, the last slide that I have, second last slide that I have is, there are a lot of AI workloads actually out of in foreign cloud providers. I think it's time to bring back your IT load, AI load back home or back to Nepal, because the infrastructure is ready now. Okay, yeah, please welcome Detlev Bredal as the keynote speaker for this session. Thank you.
AI for Nepal. Oh my God, there is a lot of people. It's awesome to see so many. I heard there were like 700 people invited here or something like that, right? And 400 or 500 people in the room. It's probably true. Oh, let me see if this one works. There we go. I'll start by taking you back to Nepal, 1989. I was 16 years old. And it was probably, I told my wife the other day, it was probably the happiest hours of my life. It's a tough thing to say to your wife, right? Because we had kids, we got married and all that stuff. But at least I was 16, I was traveling through Nepal with my best friend, Anas. Had zero worries in life. Didn't care about anything else. This was actually me. Peak happiness, 1989. Standing here with a bunch of kids. It's a long story. You know how these travel stories, they can go on forever and forever. And I started a little bit, we had a dinner the other night, where I started talking about it a little bit, and suddenly an hour later, you're still talking about this trip, right? But I was traveling around. I met this guy we called him Conan. I don't know exactly what his name was, but Conan, and we traveled around with him. He was delivering food and mail to the monasteries in the mountains. So we hooked up with him, and we walked around for 2 weeks. And this was part of that trip. So this is my friend Anas. I actually stayed on top of that roof for a night. And these were the kids of the people that owned that house. So when Deepak, I haven't actually been back since '89, since I was 16 years old. So when Deepak asked, hey, do you want to come by to Nepal and to Kathmandu? And back then I stayed in Tamil, and this time as well, I stayed in Tamil. I actually brought my wife, and we've had a really, really good week here. It wasn't a hard decision, and I've had a really fantastic time. I love your country. I love the people here. And I had the warmest welcome you can imagine. So I'm from Denmark, all the way up there. And it's like a 7,000 kilometer trip, a good few hours in airplane, I can tell you that. There was one number that also made me feel, hey, there's some real stuff going on here in Nepal that is worth talking about. $192 million, and I'll get back to why that number for me really resonated later on. You'll have to wait for that. But first, hello everyone, my name is Ditlev. I run Hosted AI. We build software for service providers, platform for managing AI infrastructure. You can think of us like VMware for generation AI. We've been around for a few years. We raised 24 million, something like that, $25 million in seed funding earlier this year. And 65 people, office in Bangalore, where Gauri is, and around the world in Europe and in US as well. This is my 7th startup. I am that old. I failed twice dramatically in my 20s, but I've sold the last 4 ones. I've been dealing with mostly infrastructure, cloud, and deep tech, and that kind of stuff. Also, if you can attach a marketplace dynamic to it, I think it makes it even more interesting. And I got to tell you, this whole AI thing is the most crazy thing I've been part of. I've never seen anything so nuts. I am an AI absolutist. I believe that everything we do, think, and decide will be done by AI, not in a year, but maybe tomorrow. I am thinking about. I can feel I'm thinking in a different way myself because of AI, and I think we will all start to look at AI as not a co-pilot, but actually a decision engine that will help us get smarter, better, and faster at everything we do. So, with that being said, I'll get cracking. It's really good to be back in Nepal. Thanks for the warm welcome to everyone. So, I actually hate standing on a stage. I never feel comfortable about these kind of things. I get nervous. I've done it many times. Garvin knows that. But I never kind of feel sort of comfortable being on stage and talking to a lot of people like you. So, I read about this rule of 20, and it's supposed to avoid death by PowerPoint. The rule is like this. So minimum font size 20, I can do that. Maximum 20 words per slide. I'll pretty much stick to that. The third part, though, is maximum 20 slides. So that's the rule of 20. I don't know if you've seen it before. And I'm going to fail that quite dramatically, because in the next 25, 30 minutes, there will be more than 100 slides served to you. I swear to God, you'll be fine. You won't sleep. I can guarantee you that. So it's a story in 3 acts, and I'll start by talking about the impact of AI. So I talk about it a little bit, but the point here is that every technology revolution makes something scarce abundant. You see it when steam, the industrial revolution started, and suddenly all the heavy lifting was done by steam instead of hands, and physical work became easy, became redundant, became cheap. And the indexing of the internet, all the knowledge that we had all the way back from Gutenberg when he started printing books, suddenly all that knowledge was indexed, and we didn't have to go to the library and read 100 books. We could just go to Google and ask, hey, how does that work? And then we were told, because all the information were indexed, all the books and everything that's ever been said could suddenly be found. And information became abundant. And AI is going to be the biggest change yet. AI is going to take all the information that the internet made available and turn it into decisions. Turn it into the knowledge, turn that into actions. Turn the knowledge into reasoning, into judgment, and judgment becomes abundant. And the most valuable thing we have is decisions. Everyone can get all the information, but to turn that information into decisions, into judgments, into assertions, that's the really hard part. And suddenly every company becomes an instant decision engine. Who gets the loan? Who doesn't? That used to be like weeks of discussing and documents being back and forth and so on. What does that CT scan mean? If you ever had one of those, you have the radiologist going through that. Now suddenly with AI, that's a split-second decision. Hey, that doesn't look good, we better look into it, instead of discussing back and forth between different kind of specialists and back and forth between the doctors and so on. And so on. So all the decisions you have as a company suddenly will be given to you. I feel like I'm probably preaching to the choir, because I've seen enough of the invite list for this room to understand a lot of you are probably using AI on a daily basis, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But governments too, where to build, what to fund, where the water of Nepal goes. So the question is not whether AI is coming, at least that's not the question for me. I am, as I said before, an AI absolutist. The question I think that everyone here in this room should worry about is who owns the AI? That judgments, those decisions that AI will now do for you, who actually owns them? And what is AI actually made of? And AI is made of compute, but compute without power is nothing. And electricity is effectively how countries and how powers have been built in the past. And from now on, it's going to be the deciding power for all, how the world will be formed over the next decade. It's going to be defined by the access to electricity, ideally green electricity. You can probably see where this is going, also compared to what Deepak said a second ago. I found this article the other day, how the richest companies of the world are literally fighting. They're bribing, they are lobbying, they're doing all these things just to get access to power, and it's going to be more and more crazy. So whoever gets access to power, whoever can make power abundant, is the one walking away from the AI race as a winner. So today, Deepak talked about how hard it is to get GPUs. We feel, and we see that, and Gobri and I talk a lot about that the scarcity in GPUs that we see today, in half a year, is probably going to look different. But what does GPU help if you can't power them? You know, a normal rack might have 10 or 20 kilowatt. A rack in a data center might have a density of 10 or 20 kilowatts. Suddenly, every rack with Vera Rubin, the latest GPU coming out from NVIDIA now, we might need a whole megawatt for one rack. Most data centers, when I was building data centers back in the days, maybe had a megawatt for the whole thing. So it's a big change. So you can probably see where this is going, and I want to talk a little bit about Nepal's opportunity and why what I've just been going through here really it lends itself extremely well to where you guys are placed, at least most of the year. And the weird thing is that today, Nepal buys AI from abroad, yet you have so much power. So what you're effectively doing is that you're taking all the power you produce, most of it anyway, and you export it. And then all the AI that power generates, you import that afterwards. Which, when you think about it, is a little bit crazy, right? And you guys have the cleanest power in the world. Most countries would only dream. Most companies would only. All right, so that sentence doesn't make any sense. But most countries would only dream of having access to the level of green power that you guys have. And the prices here. The lowest price I found here in Nepal is 2.3. I understand if you have redundant data center power, it costs a little bit more, but 2.3 cents per kilowatt, where in US, the absolute lowest at-night price is 15 cents per kilowatt hour. And for a GPU that eats power for breakfast and dinner, this is really where it's at. That is the major difference. And the reason that even though it's quite hard to get GPUs here in Nepal, the reason that what Deepak and the team is building is so unique is not only will they be in the latest and greatest GPUs with a really fantastic team and local support, it will be a super competitive pricing because of your abundance of power here. So yes, it's seasonal. Everyone knows that. The wet season is what do you say, 7 months, 9 months a year? Something like that, right? Is that correct? So obviously, at that time, you have all the power you can use. And the thing about AI is that AI doesn't care. AI doesn't need to be 24/7, 365 days a year. AI is not persistent. AI can be moved from one location to another without big concerns. It's an agent. You can keep sessions. You can even, with hosted AI, you can move that agent from provider A to provider B without any sort of big concerns or downtime or anything like that. So having abundant power for 7 months of the year is okay. For the rest of the time, you would just use another provider or offload it to a GPU in another country. I know that Deepak and the Data Hub guys and YetiCloud will have access to GPUs not only in Nepal, but also outside of Nepal when the rain season stops. And do you remember the 192 million I mentioned? So I read that the other day. So you probably know that now better than I do. But in 2025, $192 million of power was wasted here. Wasted to the sense that it was running through the turbines and not actually distributed. And India couldn't take the whole thing. Nepal themselves couldn't use it. And it just went through the turbines and nobody paid for it. I found this article actually this morning. Yes, I've been making this presentation today. So I found this article this morning talking about this, how the curtail of the power because there was no off-taker for it. And it's actually 1 million GPUs. I did the math. And it's 1 million B200s, which is not the latest GPUs, but it's the most popular GPU right now. The $192 million. It's the same as 10 AI factories of this size that you guys are sort of flushing out on a yearly basis. I understand that the last mile and the infrastructure of distributing this power can be a big problem, especially for a country at the Nepalese scale. But it's worth thinking about. So, guys, this was 50 slides. Are you guys still with me? So there's 100 more to go, almost. So here we go. So I guess my whole point here is that the export shouldn't be the electron. The export should be what the electron produces. And I think this will be the common sort of theme for the rest of my 100 slides or so. Because the same electron can actually do 4 things. Obviously, it provides electricity. If you go up one scale, it provides compute. And then it provides intelligence, and suddenly it does decisions for you. But today, this is what you guys do. You are exporting the electricity, and you are leaving the compute, the intelligence, and the decisions for other people. And actually, the electricity here is the scarcity. The electricity here is what everyone wants. And the other part is kind of commoditized. If you have the electricity the way that you guys do, the rest is not easy, but it's doable. If you don't have the electricity, it's not like you can invent it. So you have actually the part that is... So, yeah, all this sounds good on the slide, but have everyone done it? Everyone, when you talk about green power, everyone screams Bhutan. And I looked into that as well, and Bhutan have kind of done it, but not completely. I'll talk about why. And you probably know about the 13,000 bitcoins that Bhutan have mined since 2019. It's literally $750 million that they have made on it. And that's actually at old pricing. It's probably a few billion now. But at the time they mined it, it was around 750 million in pure profit. And if you ask me, though, I think Bitcoin is probably the dumbest thing you can do with an electron. And I understand why they have done it, because it's easy. You just have to employ 50 people, set up a data center. Uptime is not that important. Throughput, security is not that important. But most of those 50 people are still going to be security guards. Deepak was just talking about on stage how AI will enable you to also better your workforce. You will have specialists being able to do today what they couldn't do yesterday. And they'll be able to work at a completely different pace. So that is not what Bhutan is doing. Bhutan has gone a little bit further, but they've really only sort of stopped in the middle of the compute. So they haven't gone to the intelligence. Can you guys see this? Yeah, I guess you can. They haven't gone to the intelligence, and they certainly haven't gone to the decisions. And I think what we should all focus on is how can we here in Nepal go the whole way? And not, we can still export power if we can't use the whole thing, but make sure that we don't import AI. Make sure that we use our own power at the widest degree possible, also for the sovereignty reasons I'll talk about in a second. But at least, for the love of God, use the power you have. Stop selling it. So there's 2 steps there's 2 things needed to get to the top 2 steps, the intelligence and the decisions. You need customers, and you need talent. And another great thing about the location of Nepal, apart from the abundance of power, is that you are placed right in the middle of the two biggest AI consumers in the world. Over the next decade, these guys, India, 2 billion people, China, 1.5 billion people, is going to be probably eating 80% of the tokens available to man. And here you are in the middle, providing the cheapest tokens in the world. You know, it's not a bad place to be. And mix that with all the power you have. I mean, the future is golden for you guys if you play your cards right. Do you guys know the difference between inference and training? So when you build a model, you train it, you make it smarter, you put what's called weights inside of them, and then afterwards you can start using those models, and that's called inference. If you buy a hotel room from Expedia, there's an agent saying, hey, the price in Paris is this and that. That agent is providing an inference service. And what's key for inference is latency. Because if it takes a second for that agent to answer you, the conversion rate goes down 20%. Those are known facts. So the closer you are, the lower the latency you have, the higher the conversion and the more important, and the better the investment of the agents are. So the closer you are, the better it works. And which is, when you go back here, obviously key, because you're sitting right in the middle from a latency perspective from Nepal and, from India and China. So do you have the talent? As you said, those 2 things. There's the customers, and then there's the talent. And I've talked a lot with Deepak about that this week. You have an abundance in talent. Unfortunately, 2,000 people leave Nepal every freaking day because the opportunity probably today is not there. But the more AI we bring in, the higher the opportunity and the fewer people will leave. The lower the rate of, what's it called? Diaspora? Is that the English word? I think it is. Sorry? Diaspora, thank you. But you already today, you have 1 billion of export. It's been doubled in the last 3 years. And you have 100,000 people working directly associated with that 1 billion. I know the government, the new government, have plans of maybe triple or maybe even 5 doubling it over the next years. And so the point is, the talent is here. And I think if the opportunity for that talent to really utilize their skills were here as well, they wouldn't go anywhere. Why would they? With talent, with opportunity, the talent that have already that's already left will come back. You see that already in India, and you see it in China in a big way. A lot of the people that we hire or a lot of the talent we've interviewed as well in Bangalore, where our office is, are actually people who have come back from San Francisco. They come back from the valley because they realize the opportunity in Bangalore is there. And the same thing is going to happen. If you guys double down, not only are you going to use your energy, not only are you going to get more and more AI tasks locally and also understand own the sovereignty of the decision made, but you will also have your young people actually staying locally. I think it's beautiful. So you got power, you got location, and you got talent. Most countries, like if you are US, if you are UK, where I lived for many years, if you are Denmark, where I come from, you would dream of this. Most countries have one of them, maybe two. Nepal has all three. So remember the question I started in the beginning, who owns AI? 40 slides back or so. Because when AI acts, and Deepak spoke about that, whose AI is it? How do you actually define that? What law applies? Just because it's a Nepalese grown model or trained model, if it sits in someone else's data center, the decision lives abroad. And yeah, it's not black and white, but it's a gray zone who actually owns it. And it makes life as a developer, as a decision maker, as a government or a company really kind of, I would be concerned. And the thing is, it's your data, it's your models, but it's their country. It's not a cloud, it's effectively a landlord. You're renting a room in someone else's house. They can go into your house, they can look what's inside the fridge. They have keys. They can decide that you need to double the payment for that house. They're your landlord. They can suddenly say, I said yesterday that this is cool, it's not cool anymore. Now we need to understand all the data that is flying in and out. And this is happening every day. It's not something I'm just making up here, it's happening all the time. So it's not a cloud unless it's your own cloud. If it's not your own cloud, it's a landlord. Sovereignty lives wherever the decision is made. And the decision is made by the electrons powering the compute sitting in a data center. That data center is a decision factory. Whoever owns the factory sit on the sovereignty. So what happens if Nepal does nothing? Well, it's nothing really. Nothing will happen. It continues the way it is. The power will continue to flow over the border, be sold at cents on the dollar, and the same 2,000 people will continue to leave every day. So the two biggest exports that you have here is electrons and talent, which is quite sad actually. So there's two roads. You can sell the power or you can own the decision. I read this article in Kathmandu Post by Samir Maskey. I don't know if I'm saying the word right. It's a really good article. Is he in the room, by the way? He's not here? That's good. So I didn't know whether you could use the quote. But without your own compute, Nepal stays a digital colony. And I remember already from when I was here the first time that colony and Nepal is not really a thing. You guys have never been colonized. It's pretty much the only place in this region you've never been colonized. You've always been in control. But the way I see this, unfortunately, is like a digital colonization, what's going on right now. Because you're handing over the golden parts of your country. And so I'm so happy that Deepak is doing the work. I'm so happy that other companies in this country is doing the work. It's really the right thing to do. Finally, my last act out of the three is, where does Data Hub fit? So a data center stores things, a factory builds things, and Data Hub is an AI factory. Data Hub will provide the GPUs, they'll provide the token factories, and they'll provide everything that is needed for you guys to go and make local decisions, to own the data, to not worry about your landlord. And the funny thing, it will be done, as I said before, at prices that will probably be lower than what you're paying now outside of Nepal. So it runs on Nepal's power, under Nepalese law. Data stays, the model stays, the decision stays. And when something breaks at 2 a.m., and it always does at 2 a.m., when you call someone, it will be someone sitting here in Kathmandu. It won't be some guy sitting in Virginia or in India or someone else. It will be someone who understands your local problems, your local language, and will get it. And you will have account managers, you will have contacts that you can trust, and you're not just a number sitting somewhere in Amazon. It's actually a real person, a real account manager, a real support sitting right here in Kathmandu. I've met them, I've been here all week, sat with the team, and frankly, they're great guys. The best engineers in Nepal, the best GPUs that NVIDIA makes, the best platform that is made, we think so. And yeah, certainly cheaper than US clouds, and most likely cheaper than any other location in the world. There's a bunch of fair questions here, and yeah, there's the uptime question. You guys don't have an infrastructure that mimics the US infrastructure yet when it comes to power distribution. I've been here a week, though. I haven't seen any power failures yet. I've been in India for many, many months, and that's a daily occurrence. So I wouldn't say it's as bad as Bangalore for sure, but it's probably also not 99.99 uptime. So it's important that you choose someone with a data center ready for these kind of things. Data centers that are ready to deal with earthquakes, that are ready to deal with the power issues that countries like Nepal will face until that the infrastructure gets on par. And maybe don't start with these AI factories. I know that the data centers that Deepak work in are not sort of multi-gigawatts data centers. They buy on the megawatt basis. And for inference, that's great, because inference is a retail market. You don't have to start with a cluster of 100 nodes. It's fine just starting with 5 or 10 GPUs and then grow a little bit more, grow a little bit more. And, oh, that's a 100 slide, guys. You see, we're getting there. You all awake? That's great. So question, who will the Nepalese user be? I'll go through this fast. Is the bank scoring every loan? I actually met one of those when I was here last time up in the mountains, a local doctor. Today, I can imagine they wouldn't know what to do with a CT scan, but tomorrow, if they have access to AI, they don't have to send documents back and forth. They don't have to send the CT scans and whatever they're doing back and forth. It can be accessed directly through AI, directly where they are sitting out in the world. So AI can't give Nepal more doctors, but it can enhance and copy, if you will, the doctors that you guys have. Is the students, suddenly they're able to do so much more on local infrastructure. Is the founder that you have here, and I know there are many great founders in Nepal. Actually, I guess because of this event, a lot of founders have actually reached out to me on LinkedIn and had added me. I guess a lot of you guys are in the room, and if so, thank you. Hope to talk to all of you tonight. But a lot of great founders here without the founder sort of valley level budgets, like we have raised 25 million. I don't think there's a lot of Nepalese startups that get to do that. But now they can actually get the AI at the Nepalese pricing with the Nepalese sovereignty. And Nepal can do all four. You can have cheap electricity. You can build your own compute. You have access to intelligence and decisions. And Data Hub is ready. So, 1989, happiest hours of my life. And sometimes I wonder what those kids are doing now. I actually I think this guy is super cool. Look at him. Yeah, like he couldn't care about anything. He's like the coolest guy in the room, I think. But I wonder what these guys are doing. They're probably, this is 1989. They're probably, what are they, 40 or something now, right? It's weird to think about. So their kids, they're grown up now, but their kids will grow up in the generation AI. And I think the question is, number one, where it runs, and number two, will they own it? Is the decisions they're making, the discussion they're having, the help they're getting online, is it actually theirs? Will they be in full control? And I think what you guys are all doing now, I have a really strong hope that the answer will be yes. So listen, what do I know? I haven't been here for 35 years. What do I know? And obviously, I'm not the one to tell you guys what you're doing, when you have how to run your businesses and how to run your country. But I really, from the bottom of my heart, hope that you will take this opportunity and run with it. You are positioned with something extremely unique. You have power, you have location, you have talent. You can really pull it off. So don't sell the power, own the decisions, and you can build it there. Thank you so much. And I don't know if we have time, if there even are some questions. I don't know if you have questions. Otherwise, we can take them outside. And, but if you do, I think they're welcome. Are they welcome, actually? Am I allowed to get questions here? I don't know. If there isn't, that's fine. Okay, listen, we can do it afterwards. Thank you so much. Thank you for the welcome. And I'm so glad to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dilip, for the insightful and thought-provoking keynote. Your perspective have given us a deeper understanding of how AI infrastructure is shaping the future of the innovation across the industry and nation. Good evening, everyone. I'm Suzina Karanjit from Data Hub. To further explore the ideas and engage in the meaningful conversation, we now move into the interactive panel discussion and QA session. To lead the session, I'm pleased to invite Mr. Anandaraj Khanal, founder of Nepal Digital Leads. Please welcome Mr. Anandaraj Khanal.
Thank you very much. My job is to moderate this panel discussion. We have 4 very prominent panelists today. The first, I would like to call upon Professor Dr. Bal Krishna Bal, who is Associate Dean, School of Engineering, Kathmandu University. Dr. Bal. Similarly, we have Dr. Suresh Manandar. He has multiple hats. He's a CEO of YZAC, and he's also academician, a researcher, a long history of his involvement in AI development. Dr. Suresh Manandar. Dr. Suresh Manandar. Okay. So we have Sandhya Karki, a very youngest of the panel, and she's a data scientist. Very promising young lady in the realm of data science and AI. Sandhya Karki. We have Subhash Dhakal, who is a Joint Secretary and currently the Director General of Department of Information Technology, Government of Nepal. I think he has some issues with the parking, so we are expecting 2 of our panelists shortly. A minute or so. Suresh Mananda. स्लोगन जुन छ नि नेपालको आफ्नै अघि गौरीले भन्दाखेरि इट साउन्ड्स भेरी इन्ट्रेस्टिङ नेपालको आफ्नै एआई इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर जहाँ पनि जहिले पनि जति पनि अब अहिले हामीले जुन खालको प्रब्लमहरू फेस गरिरहेछौँ स्पेसली द प्यानलिस्ट विल टेल अस वाट इज द ग्राउन्ड रियालिटी वेन वी आर टकिङ सो मच अफ एआई होइन स्टार्टअप्सदेखि लिएर रिसर्चरहरूको कुरा सुभाष सर इज हियर प्लिज जोइन द प्यानल Director General of Department of Information Technology, Government of Nepal. Now our panel is full. So, यो नेपालको आफ्नै एआई इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर जहाँ पनि जहिले पनि जति पनि अब चाहिँ जति पनि समस्याहरू हामीले भोगिरहेको थियौँ एआईको ओभरअल डेभलपमेन्टमा मलाई लाग्छ YetiCloud has almost addressed them all. Okay? So let's अलिकति यहाँ टाइम अलिक चाँडै गरौँ नेटवर्किङमा अलिकति टाइम दिउँ भन्ने खालको प्रपोजल आइरहेको छ त्यसमाले म प्यानलिस्टहरूसँग एकदम स्पेसिफिक भएर नट विथ टु मच अफ ब्याकग्राउन्ड जवाफ दिन चाहिँ अनुरोध गर्छु सुभाष सरबाटै म सुरु गर्छु है किनभने अहिले सरकारले यो राष्ट्रिय स्वतन्त्र पार्टीको अलमोस्ट 2/3 मेजोरिटीको सरकार छ अब गभर्नेन्स रिफर्म होल डिजिटलाइजेसन एआई कम्प्युटरको कुराहरू बाचापत्रदेखि 100 पोइन्ट गभर्नेन्स रिफर्म एजेन्डादेखि लिएर पोलिसी एन्ड प्रोग्राम बजेट स्पिच र तपाईँको चाहिँ फाइनेन्स एक्ट समग्रतामा यो सरकारले ल्याएका चाहिँ डकुमेन्ट्सहरू हेर्ने हो भने टोटल डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम र स्पेसली एआईमा यो सरकार निकै एग्रेसिभली अगाडि बढ्न चाहेको जस्तो देखिन्छ अब यो शिवचटारमा एआई कम्प्युट थाउजन्ड्स अफ जिपियुज सरकारले किन्ने भन्ने कुरो आइरहेको छ अब यहाँ अहिले YetiCloud भनेर आज हामीले डेटा हबले लन्च गरेको पनि सुन्यौँ अब यो कन्टेक्स्टमा र सभरेन एआई कम्प्युट जुन सरकारको लक्ष्य छ यसमा यो हाउ क्यान वी हेभ अ कोलाबोरेसन बिट्विन द गभर्मेन्ट एन्ड प्राइभेट सेक्टर सरकार अहिले अलिकति एउटा यो आइटी इन्डस्ट्री पनि सरकारले आफै आइटी डेभलप गर्ने सफ्टवेयरहरू भन्ने पनि कता कता यो इन्डस्ट्रीलाई एकदम तनावको विषय भइरहेछ भन्ने पनि सुनिरहेछौँ होइन त्यो कन्टेक्स्टमा एआईमा सरकारले आफैले सबै इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर पनि डेभलप गर्ने र त्यो सर्भिस अहिले जुन YetiCloud.बाट हामी प्रपोज गरिरहेछौँ त्यो पनि सरकारले यो रिसर्चरहरूलाई स्टार्टअपहरूलाई दिने भन्ने हो कि there is a possibility of having complementing role of the private sector like what Data Hub has proposed.
Yes, thank you, sir. अलिकति ढिलो भयो त्यसको लागि क्षमा पनि चाहन्छु सबभन्दा पहिलो कुरा एउटा स्टेटमेन्ट चाहिँ म क्लियरली भन्न चाहन्छु सरकार प्राइभेट सेक्टरसँग कम्पिट गर्ने भन्ने भिजनमा छैन र प्राइभेट सेक्टरको स्कोप र सरकारको स्कोप भनेको कुरा चाहिँ कम्प्लिमेन्ट्री हो यसमा चाहिँ ढुक्क भएर बस्दा हुन्छ तर सरकारले सोचेको के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ सरकार चाहिँ इनेबलर हुने कसरी क्याटलिस्ट हुने कसरी हामीले शिवचटारको डाटा सेन्टर स्थापना भन्यौँ या ठाउँमा नजाउँ शिवचटारको ठाउँमा खुमलटार हुनसक्छ अर्को टार पनि हुनसक्छ डाटा सेन्टर शिवचटारमा सायद अलिकति इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स भएर हो अल्टरनेटिभ पनि हुनसक्छ त्यो सबै कुराहरू चाहिँ हामीले इन्डस्ट्रीलाई कम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्न सकिन्छ एआई इकोसिस्टमलाई इनोभेसन्सलाई केही चाहिँ कन्ट्रिब्युट गर्न सकिन्छ भनेर सरकारले सोचेको हो र सरकारले गर्ने कुराहरू जुन बनाइराखेको छ भने अहिले हामी त्यति मात्रै सीमित नभइकन हामीले चाहिँ अलिकति वाइडर हिसाबले चाहिँ हामी सोचिरहेको थियौँ आज पनि 2-3 जना म कहाँ आउनुभयो त्यहाँदेखि नै सुरु गरौँ किन भन्दाखेरि यो जिपियु मात्रै नभइकन क्लासिकल डाटा सेन्टर र क्लाउडमा पनि अनि ब्याङ्कहरूले चाहिँ लिस्टिङ हुन मागिरहेछ लिस्टिङ भएन तेरो भनेर मलाई मेरो सर्भिस लिएको चाहिँ ब्याङ्कहरूले एकदमै मलाई फलोअप गरेछ भनेर चाहिँ आज दुईटा चाहिँ टिम आउनुभएको थियो सो त्यो भने के हो भन्दाखेरि हामीले के गर्न खोजिरहेछौँ सरकारको ओभरअल पोलिसी भन्दाखेरि हामीले जति पनि प्राइभेट सेक्टरबाट भएको यो इनिसिएटिभ्सहरू छ इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर त्यसलाई गभर्मेन्टले रेकग्नाइज गर्ने त्यसलाई गभर्मेन्टले ट्रस्टवर्दी छ है भनेर गभर्मेन्टले नै एउटा चाहिँ अ लेभल अफ एस्युरेन्स लिने त्यही एसुरेन्स चाहिँ लेभल अफ एसुरेन्स वेबसाइटमा नदेखिएपछि दुईवटा चाहिँ क्लाउड सर्भिस प्रोभाइडरहरू चाहिँ आत्तिएर म कहाँ आउनुभयो, ब्याङ्कहरूले मागेछन्, त्यो मैले त कहाँ सर्भिस ल्याएको छु खै भनेर। हाम्रो रोल चाहिँ त्यो हो, हामीले गरिरहेको चाहिँ त्यो हो। र अर्को कुरा चाहिँ અહીં सरले उठाउनु भयो, जस्तै प्राइभेट सेक्टर यति क्लाउड आइरहेछ, यो सबै आइरहेछ, यसले एउटा लेभलमा इनोभेसन्सलाई कन्ट्रिब्युट गर्छ या इन्डस्ट्रीलाई पनि कन्ट्रिब्युट गर्छ। અહીં सोभरेन एआई आयो, त्यसमा डाटा मात्रै होइन अरू धेरै कुरा अल्गोरिदमदेखि लिएर ट्रेनिङदेखि धेरै कुराहरू सोभरेन एआईमा चाहिँ हामीसँग चाहिँ एसोसिएटेड हुन्छ। त्यो सबै कुराहरूको लागि एउटा फाउन्डेसन्स चाहिँ यसले दिइराखेको हुन्छ र यो फाउन्डेसन्स युज गर्नको लागि हामीले कसरी अथवा हामीले कसरी इनेबलिङ इन्भाइरोमेन्ट बनाइदिनुपर्छ त्यो गभर्मेन्टले त्यता सोच्ने हो। र यदि सर्टेन कुराहरू प्राइभेट सेक्टरमा चाहिँ फेरि बिजनेसको कुरा हुन्छ, कस्टको कुरा हुन्छ, त्यो एसोसिएसन्स हुन्छ, यदि त्यो चाहिँ इनोभेसन्सको लागि चाहिँ ग्याप भयो भने त्यसको कम्प्लिमेन्टिङ चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टले गर्छ। त्यो भएर यसलाई कम्पिटिटिङ भन्दा पनि कम्प्लिमेन्टिङ हिसाबले चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टलाई बुझ्नुपर्छ भन्ने लाग्छ मलाई। थ्याङ्क यू। અહીં इन्डस्ट्रीको कुरा उठाउनु भयो, इन्डस्ट्रीको एआई के अरे आइटी इन्डस्ट्री पनि यो धेरै कुरा उठिरहेछ भन्ने कुरा हो। हामीले यस्तो किसिमको चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टको चाहिँ इनिसिएटिभ सोचेका छैनौँ जो चाहिँ इन्डस्ट्रीबाट एक्ज्याक्टली डिट्याच हुन्छ या इन्डस्ट्रीबाट बाहिर भएर चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टले सबै आफ्नो सफ्टवेयर डेभलप गर्छ भन्ने कुरा होइन। अहिले गर्न खोजिरहेको चाहिँ के हो त भन्दाखेरि इन्डस्ट्रीले सफ्टवेयर डेभलपमेन्ट, अहिले हामी इन्डस्ट्रीमा जाँदाखेरि सर्टेन कुराहरू चाहिँ गभर्मेन्ट र यो डेभलपमेन्ट एक्टिभिटिजको इन्टरफेसिङहरूमा चाहिँ पुअर भयो, इन्टरनालाइजेसन लेभल पुअर भयो भनिसकेपछि गभर्मेन्टले अहिले सोचेको के भन्दा इन्डस्ट्रीबाटै मान्छे लिने हो, इन्डस्ट्रीकै मान्छेबाट गराउने हो सर्टेन टाइमको लागि, बनाम 6 महिना 1 वर्ष लिएर। अनि अहिलेको भन्दा अलिकति मात्रै चेन्ज हो। अहिले हामी प्रोडक्टको बेसिसमा कुरा गर्छौँ भने अब हामीले गर्न खोजिरहेको चाहिँ क्यापाबिलिटिजको बेसिसमा, इन्डस्ट्रीसँग हामीले क्यापाबिलिटिज माग्ने हो। त्यो भएर हामी इन्डस्ट्री एकातिर, हामीले गभर्मेन्टले चाहिँ छुट्टै आफ्नो टिम बनाएर चाहिँ सफ्टवेयर डेभलप गर्न लागेको भन्ने चाहिँ होइन। इन्डस्ट्रीमा भएको क्यापाबिलिटिज गभर्मेन्टमा चाहिँ सर्टेन टाइमको लागि हामीले हायर गरेरै गर्ने हो र हामी इन्डस्ट्रीसँगै कोलाबोरेसन गरेर गर्ने मोडल हो। इन्डस्ट्रीभन्दा बाहिर गएर चाहिँ हामीले छुट्टै आफ्नो सेट बनाएर अथवा चाहिँ प्राइभेट आइटी कम्पनीसँग के अरे कम्पिट गर्ने चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टको कम्पनी बनाउन खोजेको चाहिँ होइन। थ्याङ्क यू।
थ्याङ्क यू फर सच अ क्ल्यारिटी। यो गभर्मेन्टमा बसेर यो खालको क्ल्यारिटी र त्यो खालको चाहिँ कन्फिडेन्सका साथ भन्न सक्ने सुभाष सरलाई म एकदमै धन्यवाद दिन्छु। र आई थिङ्क सो मेनी इन्डस्ट्री पिपल आर हियर, सो नाउ वी हेभ टु, हामीले टेक होम के हो त भन्दाखेरि द प्राइभेट सेक्टर एन्ड द गभर्मेन्ट कम्प्लिमेन्ट इच अदर इन द होल ड्रिम अफ डिजिटलाइज नेपाल भन्ने कुरा। म डाक्टर बल यो कम्प्युट ग्याप इन नेसनल रिसर्च भन्ने एउटा चाहिँ अहिलेसम्मको न्यारेटिभ हामीले सुनिरहेछौँ होइन, त्यो द्याट इज भेरी पर्फेक्ट। जस्तो मलाई एआईमा रिसर्च गर्नु पऱ्यो, मलाई एआई कम्प्युट चाहियो, अब कि त मैले विदेशी डलर तिरेर किन्नु पऱ्यो। अब डलर तिरेर किन्ने भनेको नेपालमा त्यति सजिलो कुरा छैन है। कि त मैले आफ्नो चाहिँ भएको सिपियुमा अब कयौँ दिन लगाएर त्यसलाई रन गर्नु पऱ्यो। अब अहिले जुन यति क्लाउडले जुन खालको जहाँ पनि जहिले पनि जति पनि एट लोकल करेन्सी यो डेटा रिमेन्स हियर आदि इत्यादि कुराहरू भयो, यसले व्हाट यु थिङ्क यसले चाहिँ यो हाम्रो अहिलेको जुन कम्प्युट ग्यापद्वारा जुन रिसर्चलाई कन्स्ट्रेन गरिरहेको छ त्यो त्यो कस्तो सिनारियो होला आफ्टर दिस सर्भिस इज अभाइलेबल इन नेपाल?
थ्याङ्क यू सर। अब डेफिनेटली अहिलेको सिनारीमा अहिलेको अवस्थामा मेरो स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूको जुन किसिमको दुःख यहाँनिर चाहिँ मैले सेयर गर्नुपर्दाखेरि दे रिलाइ मोस्टली अन द फ्रिली अभाइलेबल रिसोर्सेस। त्यसमा चाहिँ गुगल कोल्याबको केही होलान्, त्यो क्यागल कर्नेलको केही होला, र मेबी सम अफ देम माइट इभन बाई अर सब्सक्राइब टु सर्टन क्लाउड सर्भिसेस होइन। अनि सायद आजको यो उसमा प्यानल डिस्कसनमा बिहान सरले जुन क्वेसन्स पठाइदिएपछि सायद भनौँ न वान अफ द ह्याप्पिएस्ट पर्सन्स सायद म पनि थिएँ होला कि एटलिस्ट नेपाली रुपियाँमा अब नेपालमै बसेर जति पनि यो जिपियु एज अ सर्भिस जुन चाहिँ यो कम्प्युटिङ फेसिलिटिज हो अब यहाँ उपलब्ध हुनु पऱ्यो, हुन सक्ने भयो भनिसकेपछि त डेफिनेटली द्याट वुड ब्रिज द्याट ग्याप होइन। र चाहिँ किनभने एउटा कुरा त हामीले के बुझ्न जरुरी छ भने हाम्रो ठिक छ बाहिरको हामीले सब्सक्राइब गरेर बाहिरको सर्भिसेस किनेर गरे तापनि हाम्रो आखिरीमा अन्ततगत हाम्रो रिक्वेस्ट चाहिँ क्यूमै बस्ने हो त्यहाँ। सो कतिपय अवस्थामा चाहिँ इट माइट द क्यू ड्युरेसन होइन क्यू वेट टाइम माइट बी लट लङ्गर देन एक्सपेक्टेड, जब कि हामीलाई वी निड टु सल्भ सम क्रुसियल प्रब्लम्स, लोकल प्रब्लम्स होइन। हाम्रो चाहिँ अब यहाँनिर चाहिँ डिजास्टर रिकभरीको प्रब्लम्स हुनसक्ला, अथवा सिस्मिकको चाहिँ कुराहरू हुनसक्ला, अन्य प्रब्लम्सहरू हुनसक्ला, जसलाई बेसिकली यहीँनिर होम ग्रोन जिपियु हामीले कम्प्युट इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिँ हामीले बिल्ड गर्न सक्यौँ र यहीँ अभाइलेबल गर्न सक्यौँ भने चाहिँ डेफिनेटली आवर लोकल प्रब्लम्स गेट बेटर प्रायोरिटी। र अघि नै की नोटमा पनि आइसकेको छ, हाम्रो जति पनि क्वेरिजहरू छ, जति पनि डिफिकल्टिजहरू छ, त्यसलाई रियल टाइममै र यहीँको लोकल म्यान पावरले नै त्यसलाई एड्रेस गर्ने हुनाले यसलाई म एउटा राम्रो डेभलपमेन्टको रूपमा ल्याएको छु सर। यसले चाहिँ जति पनि हामीले एउटा कम्प्युट ग्याप महसुस गरिरहेको थियौँ, यसले चाहिँ धेरै मात्रामा चाहिँ एड्रेस गर्छ भन्ने विश्वास ल्याएको छ।
थ्याङ्क यू। म अब डक्टर सुरेश मानन्दर सरकोमा जान्छु। अब वेदर द कम्पनी इज अ वेल इस्टाब्लिस्ड कम्पनी हु इज वर्किङ अन एआई अर अ स्टार्टअपमा म हाम्रो सन्ध्या म्याडमसँग आउँछु। अब यो क्यापेक्स ब्यारियर जुन छ, अब ठुल्ठुलो कम्पनीलाई पनि अब फर इक्जाम्पल सिम्पल जिपियु $40,000 जति होइन, $50,000 को एउटा जिपियु, त्यसलाई मेन्टेन गर्ने एडिसनल कस्टहरू, पावरको कस्टहरू आदि इत्यादि गर्दाखेरि द कस्ट राइजेज। अब यदि यस्तो सर्भिस जुन YetiCloud.ले आज जुन भन्यो, त्यसले यो इन्डस्ट्रीले यसलाई युज गर्ने possibility, will the industry be happy, or they will buy the service, or they prefer the infrastructure itself by paying a lot of capex and also in opex also? सरको विचारमा अनुभवमा के छ?
So maybe I'll speak in English, since we have some Nepali speakers here.
I think they can use AI to translate, transcribe, right?
Maybe you have those glasses with instant translation. So actually, this is a problem we are already facing at this point in time. So YJAC is currently in the process of launching a sovereign AI platform. And we already hit the brakes because of this problem. And the problem is actually quite severe at this point in time, because we are prepared to put our own GPU servers, but buying those GPU servers, installing it, and having the tech talent run it is also challenging. So ideally speaking, we would want someone like YetiCloud to host our AI, sovereign AI platform. So I see that, when we think about sovereign AI models, I actually see that the market is going to be kind of divided probably in 3 different ways. So firstly, as the availability of GPUs becomes easier in the next 6 months or 1 year's time, and the ability of open source models also becomes better and better, we would expect large organizations such as banks, maybe government departments, etc., running their own mini GPU in their office. And then there would be providers like us who will be providing customized AI solutions running locally in-house. So that would be one kind of scenario. The second scenario would be like companies like us who are building our own customized AI models. So that is going to be different to using open source model APIs from OpenRouter or some other open source provider, right? So I think there's going to be space and room for all kinds of AI model providers. But I think for companies such as us, who is building on localized AI, fine-tuned or homegrown AI models, that is going to be difficult, run it in cloud systems, simply because, if you share an open source model, that same model could be shared across a lot of users. But, unless you have a really good AI model, which you can then sell the API, then the cost of running that in the GPU is going to be more expensive. So I think data centers such as YetiCloud will need to think about how to lower the cost of homegrown AI models to be served the inference capability in AI cloud systems. So I think if we can lower that barrier, then the demand for homegrown AI solutions will increase exponentially. And as been said earlier in the keynote as well, that is then going to help, have a knock-on effect in terms of retaining the talent and increasing the talent.
Thank you. अब म सन्ध्याकोमा जान्छु. As a very young computer scientist, कुनै बेलामा all of a sudden you got a brilliant idea which you want to test, AI मा. अब even if you have money, you want to buy server and all those hardware and all those things, but it takes a lot of time to import that, a lot of hassles, and set up it. By the time you do all these things, that idea may vanish. अब अहिले less than 5 minutes, for example, you have instant access to the compute. What would be the scenario for people like the startups or the resources who have brilliant ideas? के फरक पार्छ कि पार्दैन?
So first of all, thank you so much, sir, question को लागि. म चाहिँ as a student अनि as a developer and as a researcher को तर्फबाट some issues हरु पहिला figure out गर्न चाहन्छु. So हाम्रो first issues भनेको चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दा sign up to SSH within a 5 minutes, right? Other issue भनेको चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दा currency friction, of course money को हैन. And third issue is that compute voucher. So first issues मा जानु पर्दाखेरि कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि हामीलाई SSH setup गर्नको लागि as a student, as a researcher, as a developer, we need like धेरै verification steps हरु हैन. So त्यो केसमा चाहिँ हामीले instant GPU access पाउने चान्स एकदम नै कम हुन्छ. Likewise कस्तो भन्दा मेरो सिनेरियोमा भन्नु पर्दाखेरि हामीले सिन्स अब AWS बाट क्लाउड बाट लिरा हुन्छौं हैन GPU रेन्टिङ हरु. Me as a developer, मैले कुनै पनि एउटा पाइपलाइन सेटअप गर्नु पर्यो, पाइपलाइन AI मोडल रन गर्नु पर्यो भने त्यसमै मैले इन्स्ट्यान्ट GPU एक्सेस नपाएर अकाउन्ट रेस्ट्रिक्सन को कुराहरु आएर पनि मैले 7 डेज सम्म हडल पाएको छु के. सो त्यो केसमा चाहिँ नेपालको आफ्नै इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर भएको केसमा चाहिँ यो इश्यूजहरु चाहिँ रिजल्भ हुने चान्स हुन्छ. लाइकवाइज YetiCloud को कुरा आयो हैन. So YetiCloud can resolve those kind of issues. So second issue चाहिँ म सेकेन्ड राउन्डमा भन्न चाहन्छु.
Thank you. सुभाष सर, अब यो sovereign AI को कुरा आइराछ हैन. त्यसको लागि त्यो डेटा गभर्नेन्समा हाम्रो डेटा गभर्नेन्स ल छैन. हामी डेटा लोकलाइजेसनको पनि बेला बेला कुरा गरिरहेछौँ. अब यो कन्टेक्स्टमा सरकारले कानुन ल्याउने भनेर यो 100 बुँदेमा नि राखेको छ, डेटा गभर्नेन्स एक्ट ल्याउने कुरा. र यसमा यो सभरिन एआई को कन्टेक्स्टमा कस्तो खालको डेटाहरू सरकार आफैले आफ्नै एआई कम्प्युट सेन्टरमा राख्ने, डेटा सेन्टर क्लाउडमा राख्ने, कस्तो चीजहरू चाहिँ नेपालकै प्राइभेट जस्तो YetiCloud फर एक्जाम्पल त्यस्तोमा राख्ने सम्भावनामा के गृह कार्य भइरहेको छ कि व्हाट इज द पोसिबिलिटी अफ डुइङ दैट?
ओके, सो थ्याङ्क यू फर द क्वेसन्स है. मैले अहिलेको क्वेसन्समा एउटा छुटाएको कुरा पहिला भन्छु अनि त्यसपछि म यसमा जान्छु है. मैले एउटा बनाउँदै जाँदाखेरि हामी एआई पोलिसीको ड्राफ्टिङमा डिस्कस गरिरहेछौँ. अनि सञ्जय म्याम सबैले भन्नुभयो हामी त एआईमा काम गर्छौँ, नेपालको आफ्नो इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर भन्दाखेरि इजिली पाउँछौँ हामीले भनेर हामी भनिरहेछौँ होइन. गभर्मेन्टले सोचेको चाहिँ त्यो लिमिटमा होइन. हामीले एआई पोलिसीमा पनि अलिकति इन्डिकेटिभ गरिरहेछौँ। हामीसँग डाटा सेन्टरमा चाहिँ कम्पेरेटिभ एडभान्टेजको एरियाहरू छ। सो हामी धेरैचोटि हाई अल्टिट्युड डाटा सेन्टर्स, लो अपरेसन कस्ट, मेन्टेनेन्स कस्ट हाम्रो सस्तो छ भनेर बनाएको छौँ भने हाम्रो एआई पोलिसीले के भन्छ त भन्दाखेरि हामीले कम्प्युट सर्भिस चाहिँ ग्लोबल्ली बेच्न सक्ने हुनुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टको पोलिसी हो। द्याट इज रिटन एन्ड पब्लिस पोलिसी इन द एआई पोलिसी है गभर्मेन्टको। त्यो भएर चाहिँ यति क्लाउड भनेर अथवा भनिरहेछौँ भने हामीले यसले हामी नेपालमा चाहिने कम्प्युट मात्रै होइन, इन्टरनेसनल ग्लोबल मार्केटलाई चाहिने कम्प्युट पनि यसले दिन सक्नुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ हाम्रो भिजन हो। त्यो भएर चाहिँ त्यसमा चाहिँ हामी क्लियर हौँ है। गभर्मेन्टले चाहिँ त्यसको लागि गर्नुपर्ने फेसिलिटेसन्सहरू हामी गर्छौँ नै भनेर बनाएको छौँ। अब सर्टेन कुराहरूमा अब त्यो पार्टनरसिप्सहरूको कुरा अथवा एउटा फ्ल्यागसिप पार्टनरसिप जुन कसैसँग कुनै इन्टरनेसनल एआई कम्पनी अथवा अरू कुनै सोल्युसन्सहरूमा गर्नुपर्छ भने र त्यसको लागि गभर्मेन्टले गर्न सक्छ भने અહીં सरले पनि भन्नुभयो अहिले गभर्मेन्टले जुन एआई र आइटीलाई प्रायोरिटी दिइराखेको छ। सो वी आर डाइरेक्टली अन्डर द प्राइम मिनिस्टर अफिस र प्राइम मिनिस्टरको त्यो हुनाले चाहिँ हामी प्राइम मिनिस्टर अफिसको अन्डरमा भएको हुनाले मैले अहिले फेरि त्यो पनि भन्न सक्छु कि त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हाई लेभल फेसिलिटेसन गर्नु पर्यो भने हामी गर्न सक्छौँ। यो कुरा चाहिँ यति क्लाउड प्लस अरू जो यो फिल्डमा गर्नुहुन्छ त्यो सबैलाई चाहिँ मैले भन्न थालेँ भने। अब અહીં सरले भन्नुभयो गृह कार्य कस्तो छ भनेर भन्दाखेरि वी हेभ अलरेडी रोड म्याप इज भेरी क्लियर फर अस एन्ड आई हेभ अलरेडी आस्क्ड फर द्याट। मैले अलिकति एउटा एक्सर्साइज गराइराखेको छु। यो चाहिँ के हो त भन्दाखेरि दुईवटा एक्सर्साइज भनौँ। दुईवटा एक्सर्साइज के हो त भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो सिस्टम र डाटालाई क्लासिफिकेसन गर्ने, इन्फर्मेसन इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्सलाई हामीले क्लासिफाई गर्ने, क्रिटिकल र नन क्रिटिकलमा वर्ल्डली भन्दाखेरि देयर माइट बी अ मल्टिपल बट क्रिटिकल र नन क्रिटिकल भनेर चाहिँ हामीले एउटा बोर्डर लाइनमा क्लासिफाई गर्ने र त्यो क्रिटिकल इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स हो भनिसकेपछि त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले हाम्रो गभर्मेन्टको डाटा सेन्टरमा म्यानेज गर्ने। म फ्रेङ्कली भन्छु वाट आई हेभ अब्जर्भ देयर हाम्रो डाटा सेन्टर चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टको कस्तो भयो त भन्दाखेरि गभर्मेन्टको सबै सिस्टम चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टको डाटा सेन्टरमा राख्नुपर्छ भन्यौँ क्रिटिकल एन्ड नन क्रिटिकल। अनि हाम्रो क्रिटिकललाई दिनुपर्ने फोकस हामीले दिन पाएका छैनौँ। त्यही भएर हाम्रो क्रिटिकल सिस्टमै के भइरहेछ त त्यसको कन्टिन्युटी एभाइलेबिलिटीमा हामीलाई प्रब्लम भइरहेछ। त्यो भएर गभर्मेन्टको फोकस भनेको के हो त भन्दाखेरि यदि कुनै चाहिँ हाई क्रिटिकल भनेर चाहिँ क्लासिफाई गरेको सिस्टम र डाटा छ भने त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले गभर्मेन्टको आफ्नो डाटा सेन्टर्समा राख्ने र लेस अब नट हाई क्रिटिकलमा पर्दैन भनिसकेपछि चाहिँ त्यसपछि चाहिँ हामी त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामी ओपन गर्ने प्राइभेट सेक्टरलाई। तर त्यसको लागि नेक्स्ट स्टेप के त अहिले मैले भने हामी लिस्टिङ गरिरहेछौँ। तर हामी चाहिँ के गर्यौँ त भन्दाखेरि लिस्टिङ गर्दाखेरि अहिले हामीले के भनेर रहेछौँ यो मैले यो कसरी गर्न सकिन्छ भनेर हेर्दै जाँदाखेरि लिस्टिङ गर्दा के गर्दो रहेछ इन्टरनेसनल सर्टिफिकेसन्स अनुसार चाहिँ क्लासिफाई गरेर ल्याऊ कुन टायरको हो तिमी त्यो अनुसार चाहिँ म टायर पनि खोलिदिन्छु भन्यो। अनि हाम्रो अब डाटा सेन्टर क्लाउड सर्भिस प्रोभाइडरहरूको प्रब्लम के रहेछ त भन्दाखेरि त्यो इन्टरनेसनल क्लासिफिकेसन्सको लागि चाहिँ सर्टिफाई गर्दाखेरि लाग्ने कस्ट त लगभग लाइक होइन कम्पेरेबल एडभान्टेज ऱ्याक। अनि त्यसपछि त्यो प्रब्लम भइसकेपछि मैले अहिले एउटा स्टडी चाहिँ वर्ल्ड ब्याङ्कको सर्टेन रिसोर्सलाई चाहिँ मैले के गर्न लगाइरहेको छु त भन्दाखेरि ठिक छ हामी लोकल हामीले एउटा चाहिँ अडिट स्ट्यान्डर्ड्स बनाऊँ, त्यसलाई लोकल भ्यालिडेसन गरौँ। लोकल भ्यालिडेसन भनेको हाम्रोमा फिजिबल छ कि छैन भनेर भ्यालिडेसन्स गरौँ। अनि त्यसपछि त्यो अडिट स्ट्यान्डर्ड्स अनुसार चाहिँ डाटा सेन्टर्सलाई चाहिँ हामीले अडिट गरेर चाहिँ त्यो अडिट फ्रेमवर्क अनुसार चाहिँ अडिट गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ हामी त्यसलाई चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टको અહીં भने जस्तो हाई क्रिटिकल क्लासिफाई गरेको बाहेक अरू सिस्टमलाई चाहिँ ओपन गरिदिउँ भन्ने चाहिँ रोडम्यापमा अहिले हामीले काम गरिराखेका छौँ। तर यो रोडम्याप एक्जिक्युट हुनलाई हामीलाई लाग्छ लगभग 6 to 9 months चाहिँ यो स्मुथ भयो भने पनि लाग्छ। र अर्को कुरा अब एआईको डाटा भन्दाखेरि र यो कुरा गरिराख्दाखेरि अलिकति फरक हो। एआईको डाटा हामीसँग डाटा गभर्नेन्स स्ट्यान्डर्ड छैन सबै छैन भनिरहेछौँ। एआईको लागि डाटा चाहिने चाहिँ एनोनिमस डाटा हो। ट्रान्जेक्सनल डाटाको कुरा गर्दाखेरि मात्रै फरक हो होइन। नन ट्रान्जेक्सनल एनोनिमस डाटा चाहिँ द्याट सुड बी ओपन। गभर्मेन्टको पोलिसी त्यही नै हो, त्यसमा धेरै प्रब्लम छैन। यदि कसैलाई त्यसमा प्रब्लम छ नन ट्रान्जेक्सनल एनोनिमस डाटामा एसेस गर्न प्रब्लम छ र અહીં सरले भने जस्तो लमा ल्याउन काम लाग्छ भने वी क्यान वर्क अन द एक्जिक्युटिभ अर्डर अल्सो टु फेसिलिटेट द्याट सेयरिङ अफ एनोनिमस नन ट्रान्जेक्सनल डाटा। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामी एक्जिक्युटिभ अर्डरमा नि काम गर्न सक्छौँ। यदि त्यस्तो प्रब्लमै छ ल कुर्न सकिँदैन त्यस्तो लाग्छ भने तपाईँहरूबाट त्यो कुरा आयो भने चाहिँ आई क्यान एक्सर्साइज फर द एक्जिक्युटिभ अर्डर जसले गर्दाखेरि त्यो डाटाहरू चाहिँ एसेसिबल हुनलाई एआई रिसर्चको लागि इनोभेसनको लागि एक्सेसिबल हुनलाई चाहिँ हेल्प गरोस् त्यो फ्रेमवर्कमा काम गर्न हामी पनि तयार छौँ तपाईँहरूलाई त्यस्तो लाग्छ अर्जेन्ट छ भने मैले फेरि पनि रिक्वेस्ट गरेँ तपाईँहरू आउन सक्नुहुन्छ वी क्यान वर्क टुगेदर अन द्याट
थ्याङ्क यू अब डाक्टर बल कुनै एप्लिकेसन्सहरू यस्तो हुन्छ जुन कन्ट्री स्पेसिफिक हुन्छ जियोग्राफीले त्यसलाई गाइड गर्छ यसको कल्चर यसको हिस्ट्री यसको ल्याङ्ग्वेज आदि इत्यादिले चाहिँ गभर्न गर्छ नेपालमा करिब 120 भन्दा बढी त अफिसियल ल्याङ्ग्वेजेसहरू छ हैन नेपालको जस्तो भनौँ न इफ वी टक अबाउट डिफ्रेन्ट काइन्ड अफ डिजिजेस नेपालको स्पेसिफिक कल्चरका कारणले हाम्रो खानपानका कारणले हाम्रो जियोग्राफिक क्लाइमेटका कारणले आदि पनि विशेष खालका रोगहरू छन् विच यु क्यानट जेनरलाइज विथ अदर कन्ट्रिज हैन अब हाम्रो खानपानै त्यस्तै छ हाम्रो क्लाइमेट त्यस्तै छ भनेपछि वी क्यानट चेन्ज इट अब यो इफ अब हामीले यो डेटाहरूबाट हैन यो डेटाहरूबाट लोकल चाहिँ एआई इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर एभाइलेबल भयो भने र यसमा अहिले जति पनि एआईको डेभलपमेन्ट भएको छ त्यस्तो खालको चाहिँ एप्लिकेसन्सहरू रन गर्ने च्याटबट्स फर एक्जाम्पल अब नेपालको कानुन अब एकजना कानुन एआई भन्ने कम्पनी चलाइराख्नु भएको छ एकजना देखिरहेको छु प्राञ्जल हरेक सेक्टरमा अहिले जति पनि एआई एप्लिकेसनहरू आइरहेको छ यसले यो चिजलाई यस्तो एप्लिकेसन डेभलप गर्ने नेपालकै डेटाले नेपालकै ल्याङ्ग्वेजले ट्रेन गर्ने खालको सम्भावनाहरू कति बढ्छ र युनिभर्सिटीहरूले अब यतातिर बिकज वी हेभ चिप कम्प्युट एभाइलेबल इन नेपाल एभ्रिथिङ रिजाइडिङ इन नेपाल यसको सम्भावना कति हुन्छ यु आर रिसर्चर फर अ लङ टाइम अन एआई अब काठमाडौँ युनिभर्सिटीले यसलाई कसरी लिन्छ अब अरूले कसरी लिएलान्
थ्याङ्क यू सर सोभरेन एआईकै प्रश्न आयो यहाँ कुरा आयो अब त्यो सोभरेन एआईमा डेफिनेटली कम्प्युटको त त्यहाँ अटोमेटिकली कुरा आउँछ अनि इट्स अ गुड न्युज कि एटलिस्ट भनौँ यदि क्लाउड जस्ता चाहिँ बेसिकली सर्भिस प्रोभाइडर्सहरूले भोलिका दिनमा हामीलाई चाहिँ नेपालमै यस्तो सुविधाहरू जिपीको सुविधाहरू एज अ सर्भिस उपलब्ध गराउने द्याट्स अ भेरी गुड न्युज तर यति भनिरहँदाखेरि कम्प्युट चाहिँ नेसेसरी चाहिँ हो तर सफिसियन्ट चाहिँ होइन भन्छु म किनभने सोभरेन एआई बनाउनको लागि वी निड टु हेभ सोभरेन डेटा एज वेल भने पछाडि तपाईँले नै जुन एउटा यु राइटली पोइन्टेड आउट नेपालमा विशेष गरी भन्नुपर्दा 124 ल्याङ्ग्वेजेस भन्छ 2021को सेन्सस अनुसार र यहाँ चाहिँ बेसिकली इट्स अ फर्टाइल ल्यान्ड फर डुइङ रिसर्च अर इनेबलिङ अल अफ दिस डिफ्रेन्ट ल्याङ्ग्वेजेस इन द मेन स्ट्रिम अब डिजिटल प्लेटफर्म्स भनौँ न कम्प्युट अब त्यो हिसाबले भन्नुपर्दा चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि अब भनौँ न अब यो जुन डेटाको कुराहरू गरिरहेछौँ डेटा इज अलवेज स्क्यार्स र हामीले जुन सोभरेन एआईको कुराहरू गरिरहेछौँ त्यो त्यस्तो किसिमको डेटाहरू हामीले अरू कसैले बनाइदिएला भनेर आश हामी नगरौँ किनकि त्यो लोकल प्रब्लम्सहरूको डेटाहरू हामी आफैले नै बनाउने हो होइन अनि त्यसको लागि पनि फेरि एउटा कुरा के छ भनेदेखि हामीले त्यो जति पनि एउटा अहिलेको ट्रेन्ड चाहिँ के छ भने वाट पिपल डु इज डाउनलोड द लेटेस्ट भर्जन अफ सम एभाइलेबल पब्लिकली अभाइलेबल एलएलएम्स त्यसपछि फाइन ट्युन गर्ने अनि त्यसपछि त्यसैमा चाहिँ मतलब एउटा लेभल अफ एक्युरेसी ल्याएपछि ल हामीले यति एक्युरेसी ल्यायौँ कति ल्यायौँ भनेर चाहिँ पेपर्सहरू पब्लिस गर्ने अनि त्यस पछाडि यस्तै समारोहमा सेयर गर्ने भन्ने कुरा छ देयर इज नथिङ ब्याड इन द्याट तर म चाहिँ के भन्छु भने हाम्रो एक्चुअल प्रब्लम्सहरू हामीले सल्भ गर्ने हो भने हाम्रो फन्डामेन्टल प्रब्लम्सहरू हाम्रोबाट सुरु गर्नु पऱ्यो इट्स नट जस्ट लाइक कस्टमाइजिङ अर फाइन ट्युनिङ दिस मोडल्स डेफिनेटली दे वुड हेल्प अस सल्भ सर्टन प्रब्लम्स बट नट अल अफ आवर प्रब्लम्स किनभने हाम्रो पर्टिकुलर प्रब्लम त हाम्रो स्पेसिफिक कुरा हो नि त दे आर इनहेरेन्टली बिल्ट अन आवर प्रब्लम्स त्यो प्रब्लम बेस्ड भएर चाहिँ हामी अगाडि बढ्नुपर्ने देखिरहेछ फन्डामेन्टल प्रब्लम्समा काम गर्नु पऱ्यो एउटा र अर्को कुरा चाहिँ के छ भने हामीले चाहिँ मैले मेरो विद्यार्थीहरूलाई पनि भन्ने हो इफ वी आर इन्जिनियर्स भने चाहिँ वी निड टु ब्रेक एन्ड बिल्ड त्यसको अन्डरलाइङ म्याथमेटिक्सदेखि लिएर त्यसको कसरी बनेछ कसो विदाउट नोइङ द्याट हामीले त्यसलाई ब्ल्याक बक्स मात्रै ट्रिट गऱ्यो भने त हाउ क्यान वी बिल्ड सोभरेन एआई विदिन द कन्ट्री एउटा कुरा भयो अनि अर्को कुरा चाहिँ के छ भनेदेखि हामीले डेफिनेटली अहिलेको अवस्थामा वी क्यानट रियली रेस्ट्रिक्ट आवर स्टुडेन्ट्स अर हुसो एभर टु युज एआई तर एआई पनि मिनिङफुल्ली युज गर्नु पऱ्यो त्यो क्रिटिकल थिङ्किङ जुन छ त्यो पार्ट हो वाट एभर आउटपुट्स आउँछ त्यसलाई क्रिटिकल थिङ्किङको लेन्सबाट पनि हेर्नु पऱ्यो नि त हाम्रो विद्यार्थीहरूले हैन त्यस कारण एउटा चाहिँ इन्जिनियरिङ पर्सपेक्टिभबाट पनि हामीले विद्यार्थीहरूले हाम्रो चाहिँ त्यसलाई यो एआईको लागि डेभलपमेन्ट्सदेखि लिएर एआईको जति पनि डेभलपमेन्ट त्यसलाई हेर्नु पऱ्यो भनेदेखि अर्को चाहिँ एज अ रिसर्च साइन्टिस्ट भनौँ न माइन्युट आर्किटेक्चर लेभलमा होस् अथवा अन्य किसिमको कम्पोनेन्ट लेभलमा होस् त्यो अवस्थामा हामीले त्यसरी गऱ्यौँ भने मात्रै भोलिको दिनमा हामीले इन द ट्रु सेन्स विल बी डेभलपिङ विल बी बिल्डिङ सोभरेन एआई एन्ड द सोभरेन डेटा एन्ड सोभरेन मोडल
थ्याङ्क यू डक्टर मानन्दर म सरकोमा जान्छु यो जस्तो आज जुन सर्भिस लन्च भएको डिक्लेयर गरियो यसले एआई इन्डस्ट्री फर इक्जाम्पल उनीहरूको बिजनेस मोडलमा चेन्ज हुने सम्भावनाको बारेमा म प्रश्न गर्दैछु अब rather than managing the entire infrastructure which we talked about in the previous question अब यसले यो एपिआई इकोनोमी भन्दो रहेछ यो एपिआई इकोनोमी भनेको मतलब कस्तो भन्दाखेरि अब nobody wants to manage all those hardwares the servers and त्यसको चाहिँ capex and opex अब के भने you work on the intelligence layer त्यो भनेको के हो भन्दाखेरि you call with the YetiCloud कि मलाई टोकन फ्याक्ट्री अथवा के भन्छ यो पिक्सेल फ्याक्ट्री यस्तो चिजमा त्यो लेयरमा त्यो मोडलमा जाने सम्भावना इन्डस्ट्रीहरूको कस्तो छ अहिले त त्यो भयो भने त खास त केही पनि गर्नु परेन हैन इन्स्टेन्टली and in very short time you can sell the intelligence to what you are doing त्यो सम्भावना कतिको देख्नुहुन्छ
हजुर या थ्याङ्क यू यो प्रश्नको लागि अब अहिले नेपालमा चाहिँ धेरै यङ कम्पनीजहरू छ यङ स्टार्टअप्स हैन अनि तिनीहरूको लागि बिगेस्ट च्यालेन्ज के छ भने चाहिँ either you have to have your own GPU compute which is very expensive obviously or you have to pay in dollars which is also not that easy for everybody. त्यसैले त्यो कारणले चाहिँ if we can bring or host, for example, something like Hugging Face YetiCloud, and we can pay in Nepali rupees, and we can have all the open source model available to all the startups, it is going to accelerate the adoption of AI in Nepal. This is going to accelerate startups building local solutions for the Nepalese economy, and also it's going to help bring in foreign currency when they use these solutions to build products for the international market. And this is, in some sense, the no-brainer. Right? त्यसैले, if there are other data center companies here, I strongly urge you, right, to simply run open source APIs in your cloud and make it available to everyone in the Nepalese currency. And also you can then sell this abroad as well. Right? So yo ta ekdamai simple cheez ho. Right? So definitely lack of API access, lack of ability to pay in NPR to these APIs, these large models, is a massive barrier at this point in time, but also it's one of the easiest problem for any GPU provider to solve. Right? And the karanle garदाखेरि चाहिँ we are going to see a very rapid transition, even in Nepal, where the GPU providers will start hosting these open source models, and then you're going to have pay per use business models. And then there would be localized AI solutions, such as what Balsar has spoken about, right? Where the students will build these models and then, work on a revenue sharing model or some other model with the GPU provider, where localized AI models will be available on an API per use basis.
Thank you. सन्ध्यालाई यो यङ इनोभेटर्सहरूलाई विशेष गरेर इभन इस्टाब्लिस्ड कम्पनीजहरूलाई युएसडीमा पे गर्नलाई कठिनै छ भनेर अघि सुरेश सरले भन्नुभयो यङहरूलाई त झनै प्रब्लम हुन्छ हैन र त्यसको जुन लिमिटेसन्सहरू छ यु क्यानट पे इन ह्युज अमाउन्ट त्यो अहिले नेपालीमै पे गर्ने र त्यो जुन करेन्सीको फ्लक्चुएसन छ त्यसले पनि असर नगर्ने अवस्था चाहिँ सिर्जना भएको जस्तो अहिले आयो हैन। भनेपछि यसको इम्प्याक्ट चाहिँ के हुन्छ यो करेन्सी फ्रिक्सनले गर्दाखेरि जुन इन्हिबिटरको रूपमा काम गरिरहेको थियो इनोभेटर्सहरूलाई यो कतिको इज होला जस्तो लाग्छ? कति हाउ मेनी पिपल who try to innovate will be attracted to this business model?
So thank you so much, sir. यो क्वेसनको लागि डेफिनेटली सुरेश सरले पनि मेन्सन गरिसक्नुभयो होइन। मोस्ट अफ द स्टुडेन्टको केसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दा उनीहरूसँग डलर कार्ड हुँदैन अनि डलर कार्ड नभएपछि उनीहरूले जिपियु रेन्ट गर्ने केसै भएन होइन। त्यो केसमा चाहिँ उनीहरूसँग भएको आइडियाजहरू अनि बनाएको दामी दामी प्रोजेक्टहरू पनि उनीहरूले रन गर्न नपाइरहेको केस छ के। सो त्यो केसमा चाहिँ इफ नेपालको अब यो YetiCloud जस्तो इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर भयो भने अनि स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूले नेपाली पैसामै यो नेपालको डिजिटल प्लेटफर्मको थ्रुबाट लाइकवाइज ई सेवा खल्तीको थ्रुबाट चाहिँ पर्चेस गरेर इन्फ्लुएन्स युज गर्न पाएको केसमा चाहिँ दे क्यान डेफिनेटली आफ्नो आइडियाजहरू चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट खतरा खतरा प्रोजेक्टहरूमा चाहिँ इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्छन् होइन। अभियसली रिसर्चरहरूको केसमा स्टुडेन्टहरूको केसमा चाहिँ यो एउटा बुमिङ फेज हुनसक्छ भन्न चाहन्छु। थ्याङ्क यू।
थ्याङ्क यू। म थर्ड राउन्डमा जान्छु। सुभाष सर, मैले अस्ति एउटा एआईकै सन्दर्भमा यो इन्डियन एउटा प्रेजेन्टेसन सुनेको थिएँ नेपालमै कि उनीहरूले जिपियु पनि उनीहरूलाई दिने हैन कम्प्युट फेसिलिटी सरकारले नै अनि त्यसपछि उसले प्रड्युस गरेको सरकारको जति पनि कामहरू छ त्यो पनि उसै मार्फत गराउने गर्दाखेरि त्यो त्यो सस्टेनेबिलिटीको सम्भावना एकदमै बढेर गएको भन्ने कुरा उनीहरूको आर्गुमेन्ट थियो। भनेपछि मिलियन्स अफ कस्टमर अब जस्तै इन्डियामा त 1 अरब 40 चाहिँ करोड मान्छेहरू छ हैन। त्यो मान्छेहरूसम्म पुग्नको लागि अहिलेको ट्रेडिसनल एप्रोच गर्यो भने त पुग्न सकिँदैन। तर एआई मार्फत उनीहरूले एकदमै धेरै म्यासिभ चाहिँ ह्युमन त्यो मान्छेहरूसँग पुगेको तत्काल पुगेको भन्ने कुराहरू आयो। अब सरकारले पनि त्यो सरकारी सेवा जो अब 30 मिलियन पपुलेसनसम्म पुग्नुपर्ने एकदम इन्स्टेन्टली पुग्नुपर्ने सर्वेहरू गर्नुपर्ने हैन ल्याङ्ग्वेज ब्यारियरलाई पनि ओभरकम गर्न सक्ने भयो। भोइस मल्टिमोडल एप्रोचमा जान सक्ने सम्भावना गभर्नमेन्ट एज अ बायर अफ द सर्भिस एउटा कुरा है। गभर्नमेन्ट एज अ बायर जस्तो भनौँ न अहिले YetiCloud-मा सरकारको कुनै इन्भेस्टमेन्ट छैन। गभर्नमेन्ट एज अ बायर अफ एआई सर्भिसेसको त्यो सम्भावना एउटा। अर्को भनेको चाहिँ गभर्नमेन्टले नै त्यहाँ जस्तो अलिकति कम्प्युट फेसिलिटी जिपियु नै दिने कम्पनीहरूलाई त्यस्तो सम्भावनाको बारेमा के चर्चा भइरहेको छ? जस्तो भनौँ न शिवचटारमा छ भने द्याट क्यान बी ए कम्प्लिमेन्टिङ चाहिँ मोडलमा पिपिपी मोडल भनौँ न त्यस्तो केही चर्चा हुनसक्छ?
धन्यवाद सर। अब यो गभर्नमेन्ट एज अ बायर अफ द एआई सर्भिसेसको सम्भावना भन्नुभयो त्यो छ नै। किन भन्दाखेरि अब एज अ बायर हुन्छौँ या एज अ पार्टनर हुन्छौँ भनेको लाइक गभर्नमेन्टले सर्टेन कस्ट सेयरिङ चाहिँ गरेर चाहिँ हामीले कोलाबरेट गर्न सक्छौँ। अब नर्मल्ली इन्डिपेन्डेन्ट कम्पनीले कसैले गरेर गभर्नमेन्टलाई सर्भिस बेच्ने भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ अलिकति टफ छ। किन भन्दाखेरि त्यो कम्पनीसँग डाटाको एसेस पनि चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ पार्टनरसिप गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। सो विथआउट द्याट इन्डिपेन्डेन्टली कसैले आएर चाहिँ गर्ने भन्ने चाहिँ हुँदैन। त्यो भएर चाहिँ गभर्नमेन्टले कस्ट बियर गर्ने गरी पार्टनरसिपमा चाहिँ हामीले त्यसरी सर्भिस लिन सक्छौँ। त्यसलाई अलिकति त्यो मोडलमा चाहिँ हामी फिजिबल मोडल जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ। मैले भनिहालेँ ब्यारियर छ सर्टेन। र अर्को चाहिँ गभर्नमेन्टले चाहिँ कम्प्युट सर्भिस अथवा अरू सर्भिसेसहरू दिने भनेर भन्दाखेरि गभर्नमेन्टले त्यस्तो गर्दाखेरि हामी चाहिँ केमा चाहिँ इनोभेटर र स्टार्टअपहरूको लागि चाहिँ हामी अलिकति ओपन नै छौँ। गभर्नमेन्ट हामीले पहिला पनि एकचोटि हामी धेरै वर्कआउट पनि गराएको थियौँ। सुरुमा आइटी पार्कको पालामा चाहिँ इनोभेसन र स्टार्टअपलाई कसरी फेसिलिटेट गर्ने भनेर एउटा कार्यविधि हेऱ्यो भने त्यो एउटा हामीले निकाले पनि थियौँ 10-12 वर्ष अगाडि। सो अब आइटी पार्कको कन्सेप्ट त गइगयो। अब चाहिँ सबै कुरा चाहिँ भर्चुअल पार्क भनेका छौँ। सो त्यो हिसाबले चाहिँ यदि भर्चुअल आइटी पार्क जस्तो चाहिँ गभर्नमेन्टसँग चाहिँ बेसिक कुरा के भन्नु, उहाँले नि डलर कार्डको लिमिटको कुरा गर्नुभयो, सबै भयो। अनि यो डलर कार्डको लिमिट त नहुनुपर्ने आइटी कम्पनीलाई भन्ने आउँछ क्वेसन। अनि हामी एकचोटि छलफल पनि गरेका थियौँ। त्यो छलफल पनि गर्दाखेरि के भयो त भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ ठिक छ डलर कार्डको लिमिट बढाइदिउँला, तर यो स्टार्टअप कम्पनी हो, यसलाई यस्तो यस्तो किसिमको सर्भिस बाहिरबाट किन्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ भनिदिने एजेन्सी को अथवा कसरी थाहा पाउने त त्यो एजेन्सीलाई यो चाहिन्छ भन्ने प्रब्लम थियो के। त्यो हामी डिस्कस गरेका थियौँ होइन। सायद त्यो हामी एउटा पाइलट पनि गर्ने भनेका थियौँ। सायद यो भदौ 23-24 पछि चाहिँ ट्याक्कै अलिकति ब्रेक भयो त्यो इनिसिएटिभ्समा। त्यही एक्जाम्पल मैले यहाँनिर किन जोडेको त भन्दाखेरि नेपाली स्टार्टअप इनोभेटर्सहरू यसरी चाहिँ आफूलाई ओपन अप गरेर म यो काम गर्दैछु, मैले यो आउटपुट निकाल्न खोजेको अथवा म यो गर्न खोजेको, मलाई सर्टेन चाहिँ सहयोग चाहिन्छ भनेर एसोसिएट हुने भर्चुअल आइटी पार्क जस्तो चाहिँ एउटा फोरममा एसोसिएट भएर आउनुभयो भने चाहिँ उहाँहरूलाई गभर्मेन्टसँग यदि भोलि भएका चाहिँ रिसोर्सेसहरू हामी सेयर गर्न सक्छौँ। यति भन्दै पनि 3 वर्ष अगाडि चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ के एउटा मैले स्ट्राटेजी पेपर ड्राफ्टिङ चाहिँ त्यति बेला म शिक्षा विज्ञान तथा प्रविधि मन्त्रालयमा थिएँ। यो नेसनल कम्प्युट इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स बनाउने भनेर त्यसको स्ट्राटेजी पेपरमा पनि मैले काम गरेका थिएँ। त्यो चाहिँ मोर एकाडेमिक एन्ड रिसर्च सेन्ट्रिक कम्प्युट इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स बनाउने। अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ हामी युनिभर्सिटिजहरूमा चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टले सर्टेन कन्ट्रिब्युसन गरेर कम्प्युट इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स बनाउने, त्यो कम्प्युट इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरलाई चाहिँ सेयर मोडलमा लगेर सेड्युलिङ गरेर चाहिँ सेयर मोडलमा चलाउने भनेर पनि गरिराखेका थियौँ। भनिसकेपछि गभर्मेन्टको यो अहिले चाहिँ जस्तै साइन्स टेक्नोलोजी एन्ड इनोभेसन मिनिस्ट्री भइसकेपछि अब यो एप्रोचमा अझ हामी फर्दर काम गर्छौँ। त्यो भएर यसलाई मैले फेरि पनि कन्क्लुडिङ उसमा भन्दाखेरि गभर्मेन्ट आफूसँग भएको या गभर्मेन्टले चाहिँ कुनै रिसर्च इन्स्टिट्युसन्सहरूलाई चाहिँ कम्प्युट इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिँ आफ्नो डेभलप गर्नलाई या बल्कमा सर्भिस किन्ने कम्प्युट इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्सको अरू प्राइभेट सेक्टर्सबाट गर्नलाई चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टले त्यसलाई सहयोग गर्न सक्छ। तर एज सच कोर बिजनेसलाई चाहिँ हामीले अलिकति बिजनेसले चाहिँ आफै कमाएर गर्छ। त्यो भएर इनोभेसनको लेभलसम्मको लागि चाहिने चाहिँ कम्प्युट इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरमा गभर्मेन्ट भयो भने हामी सेयर गर्ने मोडलमै जान्छौँ। त्यसको लागि ढुक्क हुन अनुरोध गर्छु। थ्याङ्क यू।
थ्याङ्क यू बल सर। अब मलाई यहाँ टाइमको एकदमै प्रेसर आइरहेछ, 5 मिनटमा सक्नु भन्ने छ। सरले एकदमै त्यही अनुसारको जवाफ दिनु होला। अब कुरा के हो भन्दाखेरि हामीले पहिला कम्प्युटर साइन्स 1994देखि केयुले कम्प्युटर साइन्स इन्जिनियरिङ पढायो। त्यो बेला कम्प्युटरमा सिपियु मात्रै भयो भने हुन्थ्यो। अब अहिले एआई सुरु गरेको छ। अब ह्यान्ड्स अन एक्सपिरियन्स दिनलाई चाहिँ एआई कम्प्युटरहरू पनि चाहियो। अब त्यो सबै कलेज युनिभर्सिटीहरूसँग त्यो रिसोर्सेस नहुन सक्छ। अब यस्तो खालको चाहिँ बिजनेस मोडल अहिले हामी जुन हेऱ्यौँ, यसले चाहिँ त्यो ह्यान्ड्स अन स्किल डेभलपमेन्टको लागि कन्ट्रिब्युसन गर्ने सम्भावना कति छ? युनिभर्सिटीसँग इन्डस्ट्रीको कोलाबोरेसन हुने सम्भावना कति छ?
डेफिनेटली सर। अब यो यसमा चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ के कुरा आयो भनेदेखि अब स्टार्टअपले सर्टन भाउचर कार्डहरू पाउने, त्यसपछि गभर्मेन्टले जिपियु इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर कम्प्युटको लागि बजेटहरू छुट्याउने, इन्डस्ट्रीले त्यस्तै तरिकाले प्रक्योर गर्ने के गर्ने। सबभन्दा लास्टमा अलिकति आउटलायर जस्तो चाहिँ एकाडेमिया भयो, जो चाहिँ अलिकति नेचुरल्ली अलिकति गरिब संस्थाको रूपमा हामी छौँ। अनि त्यसपछि त्यो हिसाबले चाहिँ अब यहाँनिर के देखियो भनेदेखि यसलाई चाहिँ जुन लेभलमा चाहिँ अहिले इन्थुजियाजम आइरहेछ यङ माइन्ड्सहरू होइन भन्नु। अघिल्लो हप्ता लास्ट स्याटरडे मात्रै एउटा यस्तै प्यानल डिस्कसनमा म पनि थिएँ त्यसमा। र आज फेरि बेसिकली अनुहारहरू यहाँ अर्को 1 हप्ता पनि नबित्दै अरू प्रशस्त आज मैले देखा भेट पनि भयो। श्रद्धा के अरे हाम्रो सन्ध्याजी त हाम्रो प्यानलिस्टै हुनुहुन्छ होइन। सो मैले चाहिँ के भन्नु खोजेको जुन किसिमको इन्थुजियाजम, जुन किसिमको चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ स्पार्क आइरहेछ नि यङ उसमा चाहिँ, त्यसलाई सपोर्ट गर्नको लागि पनि एक किसिमले चाहिँ स्टुडेन्टलाई प्लस चाहिँ फ्याकल्टीलाई चाहिँ केही न केही अब यति क्लाउड एउटा अप्सन हुन सक्ला। भोलिको दिनमा अरू पनि आउलान्। केही न केही रूपमा चाहिँ यो फ्याकल्टीहरूलाई यस्तो अलिकति डिस्काउन्टेड अथवा चाहिँ सब्सिडाइज रूपमा चाहिँ जान सक्यो भने त्यसले चाहिँ डेफिनेटली।
थ्याङ्क यू सर। मानन्द सर, अब अलिकति यो हाइपर स्केलर्सहरूले पनि यो सर्भिस प्रोभाइड गरिरहेकै छ होइन। हाम्रो लोकल अहिले यति क्लाउडको कुरा आयो। अब नेपालको आइटी इन्डस्ट्रीले यो हाइपर स्केलर भर्सस यति क्लाउडको कम्पेरिजनमा कसरी लेभरेज गर्न सक्छ यो लोकल फेसिलिटी?
ओके, अब हामीहरूले हाइपर स्केलर्स लाइक अब ओपन एआई युज गर्छौँ when we need or Claude when we need access to massive models होइन। and there obviously the decision making power is maybe 5 or 10x better होइन। अब यदि एक लेभलमा हामीले हाइपर स्केलरसँग कम्पिट गर्ने हो भने चाहिँ The easiest thing we could do is to leverage very large open source models, like for example, GLM 5.4 or DeepSeek, whatever the largest ones, and make it available as an API. Right? So that's one easy way to compete with a hyperscaler. So that's kind of an easy win scenario. But then if you think about how do we move up the value chain, then we need to build platforms on top of it. So if you can think about platforms such as Databricks or other similar platforms, so we will need to build that kind of software engineering capability, because every new software engineering now is going to be AI-driven software engineering. So we need to have the talent, we need to invest in that kind of ecosystem so that we can truly build, powerful hyperscaler competitive systems using open source models in Nepal.
Thank you. Sandhya, last question. Especially the startups, young innovators-हरुको लागि अब सरकारले उपलब्ध गराउन त भनिरहेको छ, तर के छ भन्दाखेरि बाहिरतिर यो कम्प्युट भाउचर्स क्रेडिट भन्ने हुँदो रहेछ है। अब यहाँ त्यो सम्भावनाको लागि हामीले कतिको चाहिँ सरकारलाई कन्भिन्स गर्न सक्ने सम्भावना कति छ जस्तो भनौँ न, आइदर थ्रु द गभर्नमेन्ट्स ओन रिसोर्सेस और थ्रु प्राइभेट सेक्टर जसले प्रोभाइड गरिरहेको छ। अब सरकारको बजेट वक्तव्य अनुसारको त्यो सम्भावना कतिको देखिन्छ?
सो बजेट भाषण त हामी सबैले सुनेकै हो हैन। बजेट भाषणमा चाहिँ कमिट गर्नुभएको छ उहाँहरूले यो कम्प्युट भाउचरको। सो यो इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन फेजमा आउँदा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि नट ओन्ली स्टार्टअप, स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूको लागि पनि इफ दे हेभ नो मनी हैन, उनीहरूले चाहिँ इन्फ्लुएन्स प्राप्त गरेर आफ्नो एआई मोडल्सहरू चाहिँ इजिली ट्रेन गर्न सक्छन्। सो आई होप म चाहिँ एकदमै 100% आभारी छु हैन, होपफुल छु गभर्नमेन्टले प्रोभाइड गर्छ होला त्यो कम्प्युट भाउचर चाहिँ। एन्ड साथसाथै कम्प्युटको कुरासँगै मैले थोरै यहाँ हिमालय एआईको पनि कुरा जोड्न चाहेँ हैन। जुन सोभरेन एआई मोडल हामीले बनाएको छौँ 0.5 बिलियन प्यारामिटरको, इट्स जस्ट अ पकेट मोडल राइट नाउ। अनि हाम्रो प्लान चाहिँ अरू ह्युज मोडलहरू बनाउने प्लान छ। सो स्टुडेन्ट क्यान हुन्छ नि त्यस्तो मोडलहरू चाहिँ इन्फ्लुएन्स प्राप्त गरेर इजिली रन गर्न सक्छन्, ट्रेन गर्न सक्छन् आफ्ना मोडलहरू। द्याट्स इट।
थ्याङ्क यू। मलाई फ्लोरमा आउने चाहना थियो तर समय अघि नै मलाई 5 मिनट भनेको हुनाले मैले आई एम भेरी सरी, आई कान्ट कम टु द फ्लोर र म यो प्यानल यहीँ सकिएको घोषणा गर्छु। र म मेरो एकदम एक्सपर्ट प्यानलिस्टहरूलाई यो प्यानल डिस्कसनमा आफ्नो एकदमै क्यान्डिड, भेरी ओपन, स्पेसल्ली गभर्नमेन्टको साइडबाट यति ओपनली, यति डेफिनेटली जुन विचारहरू सुभाष सरले व्यक्त गर्नुभयो, युनिभर्सिटी रिसर्चको, इन्डस्ट्रीको र स्टार्टअप डेभलपरको कम्युनिटीबाट जुन विचारहरू आयो, मलाई लाग्छ आई थिङ्क वी हेभ द कम्प्लिट इकोसिस्टम पिक्चर एन्ड दिस न्यू बिजनेस मोडल क्यान बी अ सक्सेसफुल भेन्चर एन्ड आई विश YetiCloud all the success. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to our moderator and panelist. Now, may I call Mr. Deepak Shrestha, Managing Director of Data Hub Private Limited, on the stage to provide token of love to our main keynote speaker, Mr. Ditleb Bradal, CEO and co-founder of Hosted AI, to receive the token of appreciation. Mr. Next, may I call Mrs. Gauri, Vice President, Global Sales, Hosted AI. Anyways, it's our privilege to recognize our esteemed panelists for enriching today's discussion with their valuable insights, expertise, and thoughtful perspective. Our sincere appreciation also goes to our moderator, Mr. Anandaraj Khanal. I would like to call Anandaraj Khanal to the stage to to receive the token of appreciation. May I now invite each of our panelists to the stage to receive a token of appreciation. Mr. Subhash Sakal, Professor Dr. Balkrishna Bal, Ms. Sandhya Karki, Dr. Suresh Manandar, Mr. Anand sir, please, to the stage. Thank you everyone. As we come to the conclusion of today's formal program, it is now my privilege to invite Mr. Ratna Hakuduwal, Business Development Manager of Data Hub Private Limited, to deliver the closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me welcoming Mr. Ratna Hakuduwal.
Hello. Namaste, everyone. Good evening, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Data Hub and Hosted AI, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to everyone who made today's launch a remarkable success. Our heartfelt thanks also goes to our keynote speaker, Mr. Ditleb, for sharing his inspiring vision and valuable insight into future of AI infrastructure and GPU as a service. Similarly, Mrs. Gauri for her warm welcome address. Mr. Deepak Shrestha, Managing Director of Data Hub, for presenting the vision of bringing world-class AI infrastructure here in Nepal. Mr. Anandraj Sir, for expertly moderating today's discussion. And to all our esteemed panelists for sharing their expertise and insightful perspectives. We also would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the AI Association of Nepal, NASIT, for their continued encouragement and support. Thank you. We are equally grateful to respected government representatives. I'm sorry, I just want to inform we have Member of the Parliament, Arvind Shah sir. It's like, welcome at the end as well. Also, a special word of thanks also goes to ICT Distribution Nepal for valued partnership and continued support. Through your support, SP, Dell, and Super Microservers, and many more data center solutions. With this, we are helping organizations, Nepalese organizations across Nepal build reliable, high-performance digital and AI infrastructure. Thank you for being an important part of the journey. My sincere appreciation goes to our board of directors, our entire Data Hub team as well, and everyone who worked tirelessly behind the scene. Your dedication and teamwork made today's event possible. Thank you so much. Please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause, please. साथै आजको कार्यक्रम केवल नेपालकै आफ्नै एआई इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर सुरुवात मात्र होइन। यसलाई हामीले यो नेपालको एआई भविष्य निर्माण गर्ने एउटा महत्त्वपूर्ण कदमको रूपमा पनि लिएका छौं। सँगसँगै गभर्नमेन्ट सेक्टरबाट सांसदज्यूहरू पनि आउनु भएको छ, अरू रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभहरू पनि आउनु भएको छ। नेपाल सरकारकै तर्फबाट पनि आर्थिक वर्ष 2083-84 को नीति तथा कार्यक्रमले नेपाललाई विश्वस्तरीय प्रविधि केन्द्र ग्लोबल टेक हबको रूपमा स्थापित गर्ने उद्देश्यसहित उच्च क्षमतायुक्त डेटा सेन्टर क्लाउड सेवाहरूको विकासलाई प्राथमिकतामा राखेको छ, जुन कुरा हामीलाई अवगतै छ। र नेपाल सरकारले साथै एआई एजुकेसन, नेसनल एआई पोलिसी, डेटा सेन्टर तथा क्लाउड पूर्वाधार विकास जस्ता महत्त्वपूर्ण पहलहरू पनि बढाइरहेको अवगतै छ। यो भन्दै गर्दाखेरि अहिले हामीले धेरै चुनौतीहरू पनि देखेका छौँ यो कुराहरू इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्न। जस्तो गभर्मेन्ट लेभलमा पोलिसी त ल्याइयो, तर अब यो पोलिसीलाई चाहिँ एउटा प्रपर वेमा चाहिँ हामी अब कतिपय एआई एसोसिएसनको सरहरूसँग पनि कतिपय भेटघाट हुन्छ, उहाँहरूसँग पनि हाम्रो एउटा छलफल हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ पोलिसी बन्यो तर त्यसलाई अब एक्चुअलमा इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन कसरी गर्ने, रोडम्याप के हो भन्ने कुराहरू पनि छैन। अब हामीले अब एआईकै कुराहरू गरिराख्दाखेरि मैले मेरो आदरणीय गुरु यता आनन्द सरसँग पनि हिजो भर्खरै एउटा पनि के कुरा भयो भनेदेखि तपाईहरु एआई को प्लेटफर्म एज अ एआई इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर कुराहरू गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। एकचोटि एआईलाई नै सोधेर हेर्नुस् तपाईहरु, एआईले के भन्छ होला आगामी 10 वर्षमा चाहिँ अब नेपालको कन्टेक्स्ट के हुन्छ होला, यो दिशामा पनि एकचोटि हेरौँ भन्ने कुराहरू गर्नुभएको थियो। सो मैले सोधेँ अब एआईकै कुराहरू भइरहेछ, एआईलाई नै सोद्धाखेरि चाहिँ अब यही पोलिसीको आधारमा चाहिँ आगामी 10 वर्षमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्ने क्वेसन गर्दाखेरि व्हाट द एन्सर वी गट इज लाइक अबको 10 वर्षमा चाहिँ जस्तो अब नेसनल पोलिसीमै, नेसनल आइसिटी पोलिसीमै 2025 मा पनि तपाईको चाहिँ अब यो 5 वर्षमा करिब 5000 चाहिँ एआई इन्जिनियर्सहरू उत्पादन गर्ने भन्ने कुराहरू छ। अब एआईलाई सोद्धाखेरि अब 2035 सम्म त्यो बेलासम्म चाहिँ करिब 25000 भन्दा बढी एआई इन्जिनियरहरू चाहिँ उत्पादन हुने छ नेपालको कन्टेक्स्टमा भन्ने कुराहरू पनि आएको छ। साथै अब 500 भन्दा बढी तपाईको चाहिँ एआई स्टार्टअपहरू पनि आउने भन्ने कुराहरू पनि गर्दै गर्दाखेरि सो अब यो चीजहरूलाई चाहिँ यस्तो खालको अब प्रेडिक्सनहरू आइरहेको छ, एआई इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एआई इन्जिनियरको कुराहरू, पूर्वाधारको कुराहरू। सो यो भन्दै गर्दाखेरि अब यो डाटा हबले चाहिँ जुन हामीले आज अफिसियली हामीले YetiCloud.AI भनेर लन्च गरेका छौँ, डाटा हबले YetiCloud.AI मार्फत सुरु गरेको जीपीयू एज अ सर्भिस, यही जुन अघि मैले भनेकै राष्ट्र यात्रामा निजी क्षेत्रको एउटा प्रतिबद्ध योगदानको रूपमा पनि लिएका छौँ हामीले। साथै हाम्रो उद्देश्य एआई कम्प्युटरलाई नेपालमै उपलब्ध गराउने हो ताकि अनुसन्धान गर्दा विश्वविद्यालय, स्टार्टअपहरू होला, व्यवसाय तथा सरकारी निकायहरूले सुरक्षित भरपर्दो र विश्वस्तरीय एआई कम्प्युटिङ क्षमता नेपालभित्रैबाट सहज रूपमा उपयोग गर्न सकुन् भन्ने हाम्रो जुन उद्देश्य रहेको छ। हामी आजको जुन आज साँझको हाम्रो एउटा थिम थियो जहाँबाट पनि जहिले पनि जति पनि आवश्यक पर्ने एआई कम्प्युटिङ क्षमता लागत प्रभावकारी माग अनुसार अन डिमान्ड उपलब्ध गराउन प्रतिबद्ध छौँ। यसले एउटा प्रारम्भिक लगानी जुन क्यापिटल एक्सपेन्डिचर भन्ने कुराहरू आइरहेको थियो अघि, त्यसको बाधा हटाउँदै नव प्रवर्तनलाई पनि अगाडि बढाउने गति दिनेछ भन्ने हामीले लिएका छौँ। यसले विदेशी क्लाउडमाथिको निर्भरता घटाउने, डाटा सोभरेनिटी सुदृढ बनाउने, नव प्रवर्तनलाई गति दिने तथा नेपाललाई विश्वव्यापी एआई अर्थतन्त्रसँग जोड्ने विश्वास हामीले लिएका छौँ। Looking ahead, we are committed to working hand in hand with government, academia, industry and innovations to strengthen AI education, support research and foster a vibrant AI ecosystem. We believe Nepal has the talent and the ambition and the opportunity not only to adopt AI, but to build AI, power it and also to lead with it. Together, let us build an AI ecosystem that is innovative, collaborative, and globally competitive. This is just the beginning actually, and we look forward to taking this journey with all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite you to connect and network over cocktails and dinner. Please enjoy the evening, connect with our speakers and fellow guests, and continue the conversation that began today. Thank you once again for joining us. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy the networking session. Thank you so much.